testing, trying to make sure that this thing is revved up and ready to go. As you know, we're going to get into it. All right. We got engaged. We are engaged. We're engaged. I'm playing. It's time for to tell me where you're from. Where are you from? Shout out where you're from. Good to see y'all. Oops. Dang it. Hold on. Where are you from? Dallas. Hello from Greece. Cute puppy. Yeah, she's a bit active today. We got Greece. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday back to you. You know, we're getting ready for the week from Toronto. Let's go. That's Canada. The Netherlands. Wow, you way out there, girl. How are the Netherlands like? Callie in the house. Callie is always in the house, let me tell you. Callie, y'all my people. Y'all are my people. I've yet to visit like LA and stuff like that. I've heard all the rumors though. I get so many clients from LA, it's not even funny. Chicago. You ready for winter? Fiji, Zimbabwe. I met a few people from Zimbabwe. Very nice people. So you know what time it is, though. It's time for questions. It's time for questions. Brooklyn. Okay, I used to be from Queens. This is my puppy. Everybody wants to see the puppy up close. I don't know why she looks away. Like, you can look at the camera. I think she doesn't like the light. Because I have a studio light behind this, and I think she doesn't like that. So she's just going to look away. See, if I turn her towards it, she's like, nah. All right, you can get down now. Her name is Lorelai. Like Lorelai Gilmore. Come on, Gilmore Girls. Who are my Gilmore Girls fans? Yeah. Thank you. So let's go ahead and get into it. You know the usual dating questions. What's going on in the dating world? Relationship, dating. Because you see all these videos I'm putting up of these guys talking about women in their 30s. Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you for the heart. You know, I'm really tired of these guys because what gets me really annoyed about them is that they are trying so hard to put women down so that you will date them, right? Because the reality is that they're losers. Like, let's just be real. If a guy is judging a woman just based off of her age and he's trying to generalize what she might have done in her lifetime or who she is or give her some type of generic value system that doesn't even apply to everyone, if a guy does that, he is a loser. Because he's projecting his own loserdom onto other people. The reality is he feels like a loser. And he's trying to find something on a woman to say, oh, because you might have this insecurity, I'm going to exploit that. And that same guy, because how many of you have dated a guy where once you try to break up or he breaks up with you, the first thing he does is say, who's going to want a woman like you? Who's going to want someone like you? Oh, you're in your 30s. Oh, you're a single mom. Who's going to want you? Like, why would you say that and you're the one that dated her? See, these same guys would be like, I still want to date you, though. Like, it's like they're intimidated by women. They're intimidated, and they're scared. So what they do is they try to wait until they find some societal thing that they can pin on her, and they'll be like, see, you, no one's gonna want you now, so you need to humble yourself. Like, why is it so important that you make her feel that way? Like, what are you getting from putting a woman down? Like, that's so weird. But that's what I mean, they're trying to make you feel like less than, so you'll give people like them a chance. If I can make you feel like a loser, like how I feel, then eventually we can align. That's why people who are usually not, like, I'll put it to you this way. I've never had people try to put me down that were doing better than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, people who made more money than me, people who were more successful, more, had more going for themselves, they never really put me down. You know what I'm saying? People who weren't as successful as me, or didn't do as much as I did, didn't go to the gym as much as me, or anything like that, they put me down a lot. And it's almost like, why do you always have the most criticism? Like, I got the most criticism from people who don't do anything. I'm like, yo, for a person who's sitting down on the couch every day, literally not pursuing any of your dreams, not doing anything outside the box to achieve the type of lifestyle that you want, you sure do have a lot of damn criticisms. You see what I mean? Like, they're busy telling me how I'm not gonna make it, or what's not gonna work, and what's not gonna happen. Meanwhile, people who were successful are very optimistic. So it's almost like, and then you know what's funny about those people? The second, and I swear the second I make a mistake, they're right there to be like, see? Now, it's like they were waiting for me to mess up. You were waiting for me to walk on a landmine, because the reality is you're not happy with yourself and you're not willing to step out. So now I got to hit this landmine. The reason why I'm telling you this is because those same guys that try to make a woman feel like she's less valuable and all of this stuff based on her age is because they're hoping, they don't want you to be successful. Their worst nightmare is that you get to a certain age or a certain place in your life, or you have children, and then you actually find love. You actually find love. You actually get it. You actually get a man, or you actually are happy. What? You're happy? Oh my God, as a man, I can't imagine that. You have to be miserable. Like, there's so many guys that will say to you, you know what? The problem is you're not happy because you don't have a man. You're like, what? Is that the only form of First of all, happiness is a revolving door. Happiness differs from person to person, place to place, time to time. Mood can shift. So the fact that we're sitting here telling someone their happiness is going to be at risk. Like, bro, do you know how much happiness changes and evolves throughout time? How would you know that? There's not one source of happiness, but you know why they're saying that? Because these are the same guys. These are the same guys that are not happy with themselves. It's all a game. It's a game to get you to feel like you can't be that confident. You can't believe that you deserve something real. You can't believe that you are better than this, or you have to have standards. They don't like your standards. You having standards makes them feel like they don't qualify. Because you know why they don't qualify? Because they don't. It's just that simple. Like, for example, there's another dating coach on here, and I think her name is Canada's Dating Coach, and she's really good. She said that, she has this rule where guys will wait for 3 months just to kiss, right? And it's funny because I thought, wow, like that's an extreme one. So, but then I saw the guys in the comments, and the guys in the comments were like, thank you for the heart, Cindy. The guys in the comments were like, are you stupid? Are you stupid? Who does that? Are you a child? Like, yo, they literally were going off on her for making this rule. And I was like, bro, like, why are you, like, bro, first of all, she herself is married, right? the people in the comments are obviously looking for a way to get salvation, to get things right. She's provided a solution, and instead of just saying, "Hey, let me look into this and let me see how that could work," right? Being open to it, they immediately tried to invalidate it because they weren't getting physical access to the woman. And I looked at the comments like, this is insane. Like, these dudes think they are entitled. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna start looking for ways to shoot down your self-esteem. That's what they do. When they can't win with you, they're shooting down your self-esteem. They're like, okay, she doesn't want to kiss me. You're 35. You got 4 kids. You got 2 baby daddies. Who's gonna want that? Who's gonna want that? Meanwhile, in their mind, they're low-key like, man, I wish she would choose me. Why she doesn't choose me? I feel invalid. I feel like I'm not good enough. Like, the fact that being turned down means that you're not good enough. That's already the problem. You shouldn't link someone not wanting you to your worth. Who cares? There's so many people. There are billions. Oh my God, there's so many people in the world to worry about what one person thinks that much. I'm not saying that we don't think about that sometimes. Sometimes I get it. You know, sometimes people's opinion matters. But literally, oh my God. So instead of these guys going out, doing better for themselves, learning how to grow, going to therapy, because apparently dudes are still not going to therapy. So, but instead of doing that, they'd rather just continue to fire off things at women to hurt their self-esteem and inadvertently, well, no, I think they're actually trying to do this. They're trying to make women, you know, digestible so that they can be like, okay, now I can be real. Now I can get her, right? I've lowered her self-esteem enough where she's on the same level as me. Just like those people who don't want to see you be successful. Sometimes people will tell you not to go for something so that you don't do better than them. A lot of people like you when you're not doing as good as they are. Have you noticed that? Like I've seen this so much. When you're not doing that great, they're motivating you. Yeah, you know, do what you got to do. The second you start doing a little bit better than them, they're like, oh, well, I wouldn't do that. That could be a risk. Why would you do that? That's a risk. That's a risk. That's a risk. And it's like, wait, just because it's a risk doesn't mean it's not doable. Maybe I'm just the person that can get it. Maybe I want to achieve more. Then they start looking at themselves. The last thing they want is for you to do better. And that's what these guys are doing. They're projecting. You know what I mean? They are projecting. They don't want you to do good. They don't want you to find true love. If they had it their way, they'd keep you down. Because the more they can keep you down, the more you will settle for men like them who don't want to grow either. Thank you for the rose. Thank you so much. I'm looking at questions. What does it mean if he adds you on Snapchat after 8 months of no contact but doesn't say anything? It means that you are making this situation a bigger deal than it probably needs to be. If you guys went no contact for 8 months, that's almost a year. You guys are strangers again, right? So if he just added you back, that means part of you is looking for that. It was a trigger for you. So what I would say is I would look at it as, who cares? If you've been a stranger to me for 8 months, I don't care what kind of relationship we had. I'm putting you in a category. There's no worth here. People, the only people that should be keeping your time, your kind of attention, should be people who are actively putting effort into your world, right? Not people who drop off for months, not people who come around every night. No, someone who is going to put in work. Because here's what's going to happen. If you go for this, right, you have proven to him that he can go 8 months without talking to you and come back like nothing happened, and you're just going to be okay, which is going to show that your level of worth is low. So that's what I would say. Your self-worth at this point matters more than what he's doing. Yeah, don't let people drop. This is for everybody. Don't let people drop you out of nowhere and then show up and then be like, okay, well, now let's start something. Like, nah, man. Like, you are demoted, demoted. But he didn't message me at all. Do I delete? Then I just accepted it like all the others. I would just remove it. Yeah, but you thought about it enough to bring it up here. Let me see questions. Will a narcissist ever really leave me alone for good? Some don't. Some don't and some do. So what you're gonna have to do is not worry about what they're gonna do. You're gonna have to do what you need to do and take action over your own life. Because one thing a narcissist hopes that you don't do is that you never take the wheel of your own life. They love it when you let them take the wheel. If you give them access to your phone, if you give them access to your social media, they will always come back or abuse it as much as possible. So your block game gotta be strong as hell. Thank you so much, Miss A, for the rose. Your block game got to be strong. And you might even have to consider changing your number or getting a restraining order because they can get really crazy. I've seen some of them break into people's houses and stuff like that. So here's the thing. What matters more than what they do is what you do. Thank you so much for the rose. Thank you, Tilia Van Bos. Thank you. Appreciate it. Will it be weird if I delete now a month later? See, you're thinking too much. You're thinking way too much. See, that shows that there's something else going on, right? Why is it not just treated like another person? If I tell you direct answers, that's not going to help you. If I just say, well, here's what you should do. What I'm going to tell you is the fact that you're overthinking this. And this guy's been gone for 8 months, and right now you're like trying to nitpick at every decision that you make. Has this guy done so much for you? He no contacted you for 8 months. This much thought over someone that went no contact shows that there's something internally going on, right? I can't tell you like when it doesn't work out between me and certain women, I guess. I just unfollow. Like I just don't like why I don't need to see you. We don't need to talk. Like I'm done. I clean plates, okay? I clean my plate. Now it's not always easy emotionally, but I don't care about that. I think we need to stop looking at what's the easier emotional route and just do what you need to do. Because they don't care. You know how many times you'll have an emotion for someone and they don't give a damn? They'll just be like, they'll abuse it. They will exploit you. They know that your feelings are causing you to not make favorable decisions for yourself, and they will allow that and they will use that against you. I know some guys that dated some women that were, I guess, like insecure about being single, and they knew they could do whatever they want. As soon as they found that out, they were like, I'm cheating. They just started cheating. See, the fear. Let me see. I have a question. How would you feel if you were a female? I just had to stop there. How would you feel if you were a female dating a guy and every weekend or every time he leaves the house, he doesn't offer you to go with him very often? What? I don't know what that means. And every weekend or every time he leaves the house, he doesn't offer you to go. I don't know. But see, here's the thing, right? When you think of these situations, believe it or not, it's not always like, how would you feel as a girl, right? Because gender does play a role, but sometimes remove the gender and just think two people, right? How would you feel if you looked at it objectively, right? Because your question sounds like there's a lot more to it, so I don't even know how to answer that. But if you just look at two people objectively and just look at the way one person is treating the other, how would you look at that? from the outside, right? Try to think objectively. Take yourself out of it and try to take your emotions out of it. And that is how you can look at how you would make decisions, right? Because a lot of times when we try to make decisions, especially in a relationship, we think in an emotional way, which is fine. But sometimes we got to tap into our other side, right? The side that has a little bit more clarity without the emotions. Not that I've tried much since I'm not on apps. Why would a guy from my past stay hooked onto me when I already communicated that I moved on and we don't even talk anymore? It takes them forever to move on. Because, girl, he's crazy. I mean, that's pretty simple. If you told a guy no and you're done and you're wanting to move on and he still sticks around and he still tries to contact you, girl, this dude is mentally unstable. And see, it's those types of dudes that will end up in jail. Older women dating younger men. I mean, what matters more, not age difference does, I think sometimes can be a little bit tricky there, but I don't see any problem with either gender dating older or younger as long as they align and they have, an understanding of things. It's more about how you treat each other, right? And if your values align, like if you're an older woman, right, or a more mature woman, and let's say you had kids already and you don't want to have any more, and you date a guy that's like 27 and he never had kids, but he wants kids. See, that's where we need to be realistic, right? Like, that's not going to work. Vice versa, same thing. A younger woman dates an older guy. He's already got kids. He doesn't want kids. She wants kids. You know what I'm saying? It's about alignment. Now, I would say that would be one of the areas where it can get a little tricky. But if you both are on the same page about things, you're good. If an older man can date younger, why not? Yeah, I don't think it matters. I think it's just people, just talk about it like, oh no, like it doesn't matter. What do you think about when a man ghosts you after a disagreement so the relationship ends? I think that that was a blessing. True love, yep. He sure is mentally unstable. He already ended up in a psych ward, but he's still not done apparently. Do you have a restraining order? See, I told you. I didn't even know that about him and I called that one. Him and I are only 3 weeks into our relationship, but sometimes I feel like he doesn't want to be seen with me or want his friends to know that him and I are together. You're going to need a session with me because I feel like, here you're giving me more information, but then it's like we got to talk more. So I would send me a DM, by the way, if you want to work with me. Everyone that wants to work with me, that wants to join, that wants to get a one-on-one with me and my exclusive group, send me a DM with the word ready and I will get you signed up because we have an exclusive group and we have a meeting every week. Not everybody gets in. I've got spots available for this week, so that's one of the reasons why I'm here on live to tell you I got open spots if you want to talk to me. If you want to get stuff straight, find out what your situation is and what you need. Oops, I forgot to put it in the comments, man. There you go. So now DM me. You got things so clear, damn. I'm really good at this job. Like I'm so good. But I'm playing. But honestly, yeah, no. I'm pretty good at predicting what's going on, just because I've been doing it so long. There's still stuff I don't know, right? And I would let you know. Don't worry, you won't need it. You won't need it. I'm affordable. My situation is just messed up. So then unmess it. Come on now. We gotta work through it. Don't just stay in these bad situations. That's easy. It's easy to sit here and say, my life is messed up, I can't get it right, this sucks. But do something. That's what I'm here for. I'm sitting right in front of you saying, this is the time to take action. This is the time. Not tomorrow, not next year. If you want to get out of this stuff and you're tired of these games and you're tired of being played with and you want your peace back, this is where you get it. This is literally sticking my neck out for you. Do it. Because I want y'all to be happy. She said, you know so much. Thank you. Yes, I did say peace. Why do men ghost? I don't know, man. There's a lot of reasons why a guy can ghost. I can't give you everything, but here's what I can say is that what I've mainly seen is they were unsure for whatever variable of reason, and they just decided to move on. It could be they had another girl. It could be that their ex showed up. It could be that they're not healed from a relationship. It could be that they're crazy. It could be that they liked you for a moment, but then they thought about it and they were like, nah. So there's so many different reasons, but one thing I can definitely tell you is they were not ready. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Leah. They were not ready to take things serious with you. So they were like, I'm gonna just be out. I think, so I'm not gonna lie, I don't like ghosting. Sometimes I think it's kind of like cowardly, but I do understand that no one's entitled to anyone's time or communication. So all we can do, we can't stop people from ghosting. Like, ghosting is just gonna be a part of life. Some people are just not gonna wanna communicate why they walk away, right? They're just not gonna, so we can't force them to do it. It's going to happen. And it's gonna happen to some of us that we never thought it would. That's just the name of the game, right? Sometimes it has nothing to do with you. But what you can do instead is find a way to become more okay with ghosting. You know what I'm saying? Find a way to be more okay with walking away and saying, I don't need closure. When you can do that, you're powerful. You're powerful. Why would he always accuse me of cheating when I'm not and give no reason for him to think that? Because he's probably cheating. Or he's thought about it. That's clear projection. Either he's been cheated on in the past, he might be projecting his past trauma on you. If he is a cheater, then he's gonna project that insecurity on you because he's like, well, that's what I would do. So yeah, you have an insecure guy. And this is not no regular light little insecure. This is some heavy insecurity where this dude is sabotaging the relationship. If someone accuses you of cheating and you didn't, and they don't have any evidence, that is literally destroying the relationship. That's one of the most toxic things you can do to a person. Like, you have a problem. If I had to really crack down on your guy, I would say he's not ready for a relationship. Honestly, y'all need to reconsider this crap because that's crazy. Your lives taught me so much. You got me to a better place. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for that. You're sweet. Do guys like intimacy? Because most want only bed situations. Who is this? Do guys like intimacy because most only want bed situations? That's really funny. Yes, they do like intimacy. The problem is it's been the wrong guys. That's most of what it seems. So I would say, where are you finding these guys, right? Dating apps, a lot of guys on dating apps are just using it to knock over women. They're just trying to sleep with women. So yes, dating apps are riddled with crappy guys. And then you've got nightclubs. We're going out, we're drinking, we're not in the right mindset. Yeah, of course, dudes are gonna be looking for it. Like, so that's what I would say. Maybe a change of environment or where you meet them. stuff like that. Now, that doesn't mean that you're like exempt from it, even if you go to a different place. But there are guys who really do want something real and who don't want to just go for intimacy. Usually, guys who I would say care about themselves a little bit more, care about their peace, care about their health, because you can't just go around sleeping with everybody thinking that you're not going to catch something. Like, I mean, if we're going to be real, you are one of my people. Thanks to you, I didn't give up on love. And you won't. I won't let it happen. Because honestly, we're all capable of love. It's just like some of us have to navigate a little bit more differently than others. So thank you for that. Do you think it's okay for a man to be in a relationship with a female and he still hangs out with his girl best friend? I think that depends on the woman that he's with, right? Here's the thing, he can do whatever he wants, just like a woman can do whatever she wants. But if your significant other that you chose has a boundary, it doesn't matter, right? And this is what we have to stop doing. We have to stop attaching ourselves to what's right and what's wrong. Like there's a universal good. There is no universal good or bad in many cases outside of extremes. If you have a preference for your partner to not have a friend that's the opposite gender, it's okay to feel that way. You can say, hey, that's not really something I like. It makes me feel weird. I just don't like those types of friendships, right? You can say that. If they say you're insecure, they have a right to think that. That doesn't mean that you have to take it that way. I'm not insecure. It's just what I don't prefer, right? So you can have that boundary, but at the same time, they might shame you for it. Now, here's what I would say. If you shame someone for having, I guess, either an insecurity or a preference or something like that, that's pretty messed up. You know what I'm saying? That's messed up. But that shows their level of maturity. Like, we can't have this conversation without you calling me a name or a label. It's wild. How do you find that if not on a dating app? Well, how much do you go outside? Because I can tell you, I meet women all the time because I'm involved, right? I have a boxing class that I go to, and that we go to different gyms. I joined a running group. We run twice a week, and I meet people there. I'm going, to events and stuff when they come up in town, and get friendly. The friendlier you are, the easier it is. Now, if you have social anxiety, that's a whole nother thing that we'll have to work on. But you can get out and get involved in things, right? Don't just stay in the house. The best way to avoid having to use dating apps is the more you're outside the house. Because the more you stay inside, it's going to be hard. So you're saying I can catch bacterial infection for sleeping with man that sleeps with other women? Yeah. Yes, you can. Because he could contract something from that other woman and give it to you. I live in a small town. There's not a lot of places to meet someone organically. Are apps a total waste? No, they're not. Like, I've had very nice dates on dating apps, dating websites. They are a tool, right? Like anything else. It makes it easy for a lot of people that shouldn't be dating to be on there. But if you have discernment and you don't take it too serious, treat it like it's a game, eventually, you could find something. I know millionaires that met through Tinder. I know people that found their wives, their husbands through Bumble. It is possible. But just like anything else, treat it with a grain of salt. Don't take it too serious. And a lot of people get on dating apps taking it way too serious. And I'm like, y'all are doing too much. It's like literally, it's a game until it's not, right? We can definitely unmess our life, be brave. It's not hard to freedom, but I'm a survivor, not a victim. Yeah, exactly. How would you differentiate between an insecurity or preference or boundary? But see, here's the thing. Sometimes boundaries are in place because you're insecure. So that's hard, right? That's kind of like a gray area. Like, maybe I am insecure about the way this is going. But see, insecurity doesn't mean that's a bad thing. Thank you for I don't know what that is, for the vote sticker. Thank you for the vote sticker. So insecurity could mean like, I'm just afraid, right? Facing this situation makes me afraid. I am afraid. It's okay to feel that way. Thank you, Carmen, for the rose. Thank you. You got 23 roses. I appreciate you, Carmen. Thank you so much. So that's what I don't know how to put it. Like, okay, I don't feel secure when we walk down dark alleys alone, right? So I have an insecurity about dark alleys. I prefer that we don't go down there. See what I mean? Thank you for the hearts. It doesn't mean that I'm trying to control you. I think that's where insecurity gets a bad rep because some people disguise insecurity as a form of control. Like, oh, I'm insecure, but instead of me admitting that, I'd rather tell you what to do, right? So that's where people get turned off because they're like, you're really not that insecure about it. You just don't want me in this. Or you're not willing to admit that it's really coming from an insecurity. So you're just telling me what I should and shouldn't do, right? And that's not right because you're not being honest. The whole thing is you want honesty. Now, it could be a boundary that comes from an insecurity, and that's just how it goes, right? I'm not secure about going to your house. I don't know you yet. So I'm going to have to put up a boundary. See, what the boundary is supposed to do is keep you from getting triggered, right? It's not put there to control someone. If you're using it to control someone, then you got a problem, right? Because that's manipulation. But if you're using the boundary as a way to keep yourself from being triggered and you're voicing that, if we go do this, I'm going to get triggered and I'm not going to be the same. And I want to make sure that I give you my best. See, that's a good boundary. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I feel like I talked a lot. Some men don't approach you anymore up front, only through those apps. Well, we're not worried about those men. Thank you, Leah. Thank you is that a giant gummy bear? That's so cute. Yo, we got on a whole talk about STDs. Yeah. People are not using condoms out here. That's the one thing else I'll tell you. That's what keeps me in the house, y'all. People are not using condoms, and people are not asking each other to get tested. Like, when did we stop asking people what their test results are? You ever want to see someone jump out of their seat? Ask them for their test results. Hey, when's the last time you got tested? Can I see that? There have been some women that have asked dudes for that, and I saw them get ghosted. The guy was like, yeah, no, totally cool, thank you. And then they ghosted them. I was like, bro, that's crazy. If a girl asks me for my test results, I'm like, thank God. You care? How to prevent to fall for potential. You need to have higher standards. You need to have higher standards. If you fall for potential, your standards are not high enough because potential isn't liquid, right? That's like me saying someone saying they're going to give me money, and out of that, hey, I'm gonna give you $10,000 tomorrow, and right now I go spend like $8,000, and then they come back tomorrow like, yeah, something happened. That's on me. So if it's easy to get you because of potential, because they give you fake promises and stuff like that, then that means you have low standards. So if you have low standards, that means you can be very destructive to yourself. What I would say is we need to work on why your standards are there and not higher, right? Because sometimes that can come from something internally. It could be, self-worth. It could be, abandonment, anxious attachment. Those things can sometimes mess up your standards, right? And make you believe in something that's not even real yet. It's a sad world when people can't just be honest with each other about STD situations. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's not worth it. Sending a gift because I really appreciate this advice. Well, I really appreciate you. By the way, y'all, even though I do these lives and they are really good, for what you're looking for, the Wednesday nights are way more valuable. Like, I can tell you that when we do the exclusive meetings, you want to get in on that and the 24/7 chat that we have going on. But the only way to get access to that is to DM me the word ready and sign up. And you also get one-on-one call with me upon signing up. So I give you an incentive to actually have a full conversation with me, and we'll get to know what you're going through to see if there needs to be some steps. So I would say definitely get that. And it's a whole different experience. Do the STD inquiries shock you? What do you mean? Inquiries? Do they shock me? Like if someone inquires about it? No. To be honest, I'm shocked when people care sometimes, because sometimes I feel like some people don't care about themselves enough, you know? Like I really care about where I put my time, my energy, my body. Like I'm really careful about that, because there's so many situations that can get you caught up in stuff you don't need. How do I DM you? You don't know how to send a DM to me? I'll take your name down. I'll get you. The potential days for me were a long time ago. Nothing is guaranteed. I go by what's reality and what really matters. That's good. You're getting in my skin. I'm celibate for 4 years since my late husband passed in 2020. Wow. Sorry about your husband passing. Your reality is under attack. Someone too nerd to be aware of. Okay. Something we need to be aware of. Yeah, man. You got to be careful out here. People are not, there are a lot of people that are not careful with their bodies. They're not careful with their health, mental, emotional. They're just diving into any situation. Like I said, there's not just STDs, there's ETDs, okay? We got some ETDs out here, emotionally transmitted diseases. Like, let me tell you, you date someone and they are going through a certain amount of trauma that they're not working through, they're not taking accountability, they will give that to you. Have you ever dated someone and you were like such a good, happy person before that, and after you dated them, you started to change? You started to change the people that you were talking to. Like people noticed there were differences. You start to look different and it wasn't in a good way. And you're like, what the hell happened to me? Because what happens is that negative energy that they had that they don't work on is now transferring to you. And see, this is where I want to help out the empathetic people. The empathetic people are the ones who are going to say, I want to help them. You can't help someone while messing with them. Like you got to pick a lane, right? With this person, you're saying, I want to also lift them up while I'm sleeping with them. Like, what are you doing? You're indulging into them and they're in a bad place. You don't indulge into them. That's like saying, man, this food is undercooked. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start eating it while I'm trying to cook it. Like, what are you doing? And then you wonder why you got sick. You gotta cook the food aside from you. You see what I'm saying? If you're gonna get something to a place that it needs to be, then you have to discipline yourself from indulgence. If you're gonna be the example, then be the example all the way. Lead by example. Don't say, oh, I'm gonna give you this and this and this and this, and then just keep adding stuff, because that's their first problem, is that they don't. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is they need to get where they need to be on their own. You can help. There's two ways to go about it, right? You can teach a man to fish, or you can give a man to fish. Like to work with you. You want to work with me? I will send you an email, Miss Nancy. Nancy is aggressive. She said, I'm ready. And she put an exclamation point. That's the kind of energy I love, baby. Like I want, let's just move. Let's move on it. Because life is too short, man. And I want to make sure that this one time that you have in this life, if that's what you believe, I want to make sure that this one time that you have in your life, you have a good shot at things, right? I don't want you to spend this one time in 30 years with the wrong person. Like, that's it. You just ruined everything. Like, your life is done. I want to get you out. Like, why should we be spending our life like that? It's so short, man. Is it true that finding them boring means they're a healthy partner? No, sometimes you just think they're boring. You know, some people are boring. Well, that's the thing. Sometimes it does mean that they're healthy, right? Because the reality is that healthy love sometimes has boring moments, right? It's not all this chaos and drama. It's not all this, oh my God, what did he do today? I'm on the edge of my seat. I might be getting cheated on. We yelled at each other. We screamed. Oh, we don't work through things together. We don't communicate. All of that action that's happening, that doesn't happen in healthy relationships. Not that much. It might be every now and then, but it's going to be rare. You know what I mean? Because people in healthy relationships have discussions. They listen to each other and they work through things. They respect each other's boundaries and principles, and they actually look to be better for each other. If they have a disagreement or something goes wrong, it's because something is actually wrong, not because we're messing with each other. You see what I'm saying? It was an actual bad moment that we came across once or twice, right? So there is a standard. Healthy partners have a higher standard. And sometimes that standard might be boring for you if your standards are lower. Because if you like chaos and you like drama and you like crazy stuff, then healthy is not for you. And that's okay. Healthy isn't for everybody. Some people would rather go to McDonald's than to go to Fresh Market. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to you, right? I'm talking to a guy and he's looking to get married in a year, 1.5 years, but he's going into residency. Well, that's going to be tough. But here's the thing. Even though that's tough, because for those of you that don't know, residency means that he's going to, thank you, Shantae. Thank you for the heart. For those of you that don't know, you know, residency is normally when you're going into some heavy stuff, right? With in the medical field. So he might not have a lot of time to dedicate to the relationship if that's what you're thinking. So what I would do is ask him, you know, here's the thing, you guys are just talking right now. So you're not even like official dating yet, I guess. Anyway, the point is, I think that depends on the person, right? Because you never know. He might be really good at keeping up. It's okay to have hesitations, but I would just get his input on it because at the same time, it's not really your job to keep up with him all the time while he's in residency. If he's the one that's got the heavier schedule, then I feel like he needs to put in more effort, right? That's gonna really fall on his shoulders to make that work a little better. Not all the way. You're still gonna have to do some of your part, but I would let him take the lead a little bit on that part if he's got a complication. That makes that statement makes so much more sense. Thank you. Absolutely. My boyfriend mom listens to me and baby friend conversations when I'm at her house. My boyfriend's mom listens to me and boyfriend. All right, that means she's invading privacy. Mom is nosy. A lot of parents are nosy though. You probably shouldn't be talking about serious things when she's around because she's gonna be like, all right, you in my house. I'ma listen. You need help? Send me a DM. For those of you that need help, that want to work with me one-on-one and that want a group session, want to see if you can get into the exclusive group this week, I got a few spots open. Go ahead and send me a DM with the word ready. Boyfriend of 6 years left 7 weeks ago. Moved. Wow, what the heck is this? Thank you, Cindy. Did y'all see that? It looked like a whole. Wow. Cindy is coming through with the gifts. Lovely gifts. Thank you so much. A boyfriend of 6 years left 7 weeks ago. Moved in with the girl I knit. He still texts, calls. We hooked up last week. Huh? He moved in with another girl and you slept with him? Thank you for the rose. He says he loves me and worried about coming back and what my family will say. Oh yeah, girl, we gotta talk. That's wild. Like he went with another girl and came back to you. Do you think that behavior is a little bit questionable? Like, why is he bouncing back and forth? X said he needs to focus on him and told me not to go crazy or worry. Well, he's your ex. Why are we worried about what he's doing? We could just start there. Just started dating and this man for a month and he is so quiet, not sure how to address it. He's so quiet. What do you mean? Like all the time? Maybe it's just who he is. It might just be who he is. Well, here's what you could do. Ask him what he likes, right? Like ask him, like, hey, do you typically like more peaceful situations? When you hang out with your friends, do you guys usually like to talk more? Like what's your vibe? Like it's only been a month. You can ask questions like that. Get to know what he likes, right? Because maybe he does want to say more, maybe he's nervous. What does it mean when a man ignores you after arguments? It means he's upset at you. To be honest, as a resident, he'd make $50K. And when I graduate this year, I'm expected to make $150K. So what are you trying to say? Are you saying that you don't want to go through this because you feel like he's not going to make enough money? Or like what? Why are you pointing this out? You good because he could never come back to me. Yes, he came back to me. I was depressed for a year. My brother died and I neglected him. He doesn't love the other girl, but how do I get him back? I have to ask so many questions about your situation because there's so much happening here. What I would say is send me a DM with the word ready and let's work. Because that's a big one. Like on the phone, he is so quiet. Yeah, he might not be. What about when you're in person? Is he quiet in person? Send you a DM. Okay, perfect. I will check on that right after I get off this live. I was cheating on for 3 years. I'm scared, but I want love in my life. Well, we have to find out why you're. So if you're scared, we're going to have to work through that. Because yes, the thing is, there's no 100% chance that you won't get hurt. Right? Like, no one's guaranteed that. But it's the same thing. We do it anyway. Just like no one's guaranteed that you won't get in a car crash. That's just the way life is. But we drive anyway. You're not guaranteed that your plane is going to make it to its destination. But we fly anyway. So, in a way, we have to work through these fears. And because at the end of the day, we still want these things, right? We still want to have these experiences. I want to be in a financially stable position to start a family, and I don't know if that's possible financially. Well, I mean, how much do you need in order to start a family? Like, where are you looking to live? What kind of house do you need? Like, I guess that's what I would ask here is like, because if you're living in Springfield, Illinois, you don't really need that much money. If you're living in Amelia, Virginia, 150,000, you rich. If you're living in Bangkok, Thailand, and you make 150 USD, you rich. New York, oh yeah, nah. New York is a different animal. Well, New York, I'm from New York originally. That's a different animal. If you live in New York and you want to start a family like now and you make 150K a year, do you live in Manhattan or do you live in like one of the boroughs? Really doesn't matter, but like let's just, because if you live in Manhattan, it's pretty expensive. You live in Manhattan? Oh, it just gets worse. Oh, nah. Yeah. Do you want to stay, you want to raise a family in Manhattan? I need to know if you have ever heard of 48 Laws of Power. My man gave me the book. Yes, I have. Yes, I have heard of that book. Okay, if you live in Manhattan, New York, and you make 150K a year, and you want a family like now, he's going into residency. I would say it really depends on what type of lifestyle you want, right? Because having kids will add bills, right? And I don't know what type of job you have, but if you have a busy job where you always have to be into it, I have prospects and making more, but waiting 5 years is a lot. Okay, and you want to get started. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's a lot to consider. That's a lot to consider. So I guess, what is he like outside of the finance department? Like, what type of guy is he to you? How long have you guys even been talking? Again, sorry if I forgot. How long y'all been talking? That's an awesome book. Yes, it is. 48 Laws of Power. Everybody should read it. We've been talking around 3 weeks, but we are both religious, so only date for marriage. Well, here's the thing, right? If I'd like to say, I don't like, I would like to say that in a perfect world, money shouldn't play that much of a factor, as much as the other things. I feel like if you can find someone who has the same beliefs as you do, aligns with your principles and stuff like that, I would say, that's a pretty good, but first of all, it's only been 3 weeks, so you don't even know if you still get along, right? Like, you gotta wait at least 3 to 6 months to see how you even get along. But if you're saying that I'm already seeing down the road that might be a problem, I think the question that you might want to ask yourself is, regardless, like, let's say this guy ends up being perfect, right? Like, he ends up showing you everything that you want, but he just doesn't have the funds. Is that going to be a deal breaker? Because you want to stay in Manhattan and you want to add kids to the plate. If you're making 150K, that means you're going to carry more of the weight of the finances. How do you want to raise the kids too? Do you want to hire nannies? Do you want to put them in a system? Like, do you want a person at home? Do you want one of the parents to like be closer with the kids? Those are things that you might want to like consider as you're thinking about this. Because maybe you can make most of the money and he can, I don't know. How do you want to raise the kids? Does a narc actually change? Not really. I'm back to love bombing, becoming gaslight stage again, but this time he has promised to be different. This time? How many times did you give him? Let me start there. Before we even go further, how many times did you give him? Who is this? We got a call. Hello?
Hi there. Hi Javier, how are you?
Good. How you doing? What's up?
Doing great, thank you so much. I just wanted to come up for some advice if you
Absolutely. Let's do it. What do you got for me?
thank you so much. So I'm gonna just be brief and just get to it. I started talking to my classmate about 6 weeks ago, and we were a classmate like 6 years ago. Then we went separate lives, you know. I never seen him after the 6 years when I was in college in 2018. Then, a while ago, we met at a store and exchanged numbers again because, life happened. And we started hanging out. Mind you, I've never really looked at him that way. Like, I never really was attracted to him in that way. I was just pursuing my education and all that. And so, 4th of July, we hung out for the first time. We had a great time. We hit it off. We connected on a spiritual, emotional level, if you will. And things were great. Like the first month, things were absolutely great. Then about 2 weeks ago, I don't know what happened, but I guess I saw his like Instagram, him following like many, many women, like maybe like 1,000 women versus 250 men. Kind of bothered me because like he had expectations from me. We're not like together. And he was talking about like, oh, I should meet your friends and you should meet mine. And he was just really nice at the beginning of the stages. And then all of a sudden, after like, I don't know, like we started fighting. And so I was confused because when I brought up the issue to him or my concern, it was kind of dismissed. And I told him like, you're following all these women, but like, you don't want me to hang out with guys and we're not really a couple. Like, like I wasn't even going on dates. Like I have guy friends and we would hang out, but these guys would express interest in me and that was not my fault. I mean, I'm not to be blamed here. And he gets really jealous and like every time, I'm doing something, he gets really suspicious. And I keep telling him like, listen, we're not really a couple. So like, I don't tell you what to do. So like, why are you telling me what to do? And he gets defensive and he goes, oh, well, we kind of have been claiming each other all this time. Like, you say you're mine, I say you're mine. So, but if you're saying that we're not together and all that bullshit, then just let it go. One thing to mention though, like I have been very inconsistent. And why I have been very inconsistent, because he dropped out of college, where I'm pursuing my PhD right now. So there is a difference in the economical levels, if you will. Like I come from a high standard, high class, if you will, and he just has like a normal job and all that. But I still overlooked all these things because I really liked him. And so in that period of time, I kept like kind of leaving him, not every day, but like every few days. So he told me that was a problem. He said, you're inconsistent. I don't know if you even like me. One day you want me, the next day you don't. And so it's kind of like been draining. And I know what I did. I took responsibility for that, accountability for that. And
Sorry.
anyways, so I reached to a point where like I would leave him. So I want you to understand, like if I was dating you and I would leave you and then like I would end it, right? Send a it's over message, because we just communicate and it doesn't go anywhere. And then I come back to you and I'm like, let's work this out, because I'm having a problem. I don't know if this is a karmic relationship, because it seems that way. Like I'm not able to leave him. Like I'm so attached to the point where I leave him and then I bring him back and I leave him and I bring him back, and I keep doing it. And I think he got tired of it and he became distant. And so last night was again like he was like, oh, you were dancing with a guy. I was out with my friends. He works downtown, and I told him that I was out with my friends, and he came over. He looked at me and he left. He didn't even come say hi, nothing. Like I was dancing with my friend. He was my friend.
Do you guys sleep together?
No, not at all. I'm actually waiting for marriage, so I don't know if that's like another issue that he doesn't want to like continue.
I think you guys are both not ready for a relationship. I think that you both have exhibited behaviors that show inconsistency, and also there's a high level of like insecurity here. You know, it's almost unstable because then he'll give an arbitrary reason why he doesn't want you to hang out with certain guys, and then you're pointing out stuff in his followers, and it's almost like you guys are kind of like nitpicking each other and both feeling like a victim at the same time and doing this back and forth dance but not exactly committing. So this is a very like unstable situation. Like it shouldn't be this hard.
You mentioned that like a month ago, he's like, I want to take things to the next level because you're so amazing. Like, I was so great. I was doing so great. And then all of a sudden, I just flipped. I don't know if I got scared because, like, school starting soon. And doing PhD is really hard work, just life, in general. And I didn't know if I could like do a relationship as well. But I really like him a lot. Like, he told me he loves me already.
Yeah, but the problem is you guys are not even official.
Yeah, he said because you're hot and cold with me and you keep like playing games, and he said I am trying to build myself, and you keep just bringing inconsistency and instability in my life.
But see, even though but you're both doing it though. Like you're being flip floppy, and then he is also not stable emotionally because then he feels certain ways about things and he doesn't want to commit. So now he's using that. Now you guys have both damaged the potential relationship. It's already broken because now he can't even see you through a normal lens. He sees you through a lens of you're inconsistent. So that is now always going to be on the plate whenever you guys move forward. You guys could be in a relationship right now, and in 3 months, he's gonna say, "Oh, you're gonna flip on me?" Because it's like now that you guys have both weren't really ready, you guys have both done things as people who are not ready. So that is the image that you've given each other. So even though the fact that he says I love you, but then he doesn't want a relationship is BS. I'm sorry. Like,
He did. No, he did. And honestly, like, I take accountability for what I did. Like, I played with his heart, and
right, but at the same time, he stuck around. So it's two wrongs here, right? Like if he knew he was getting trust issues from this interaction, he should have walked. So that shows that there's something going on with him too.
yeah, like he told me he had issues in his childhood, and had like abuse issues,
Okay,
emotional.
is he going to therapy?
No, but he said he did in the past and it didn't really help him. But he said like he moved on and he's building himself now.
Yeah, well, that doesn't count because he's still showing that there's issues, right? So he needs to go back to therapy, probably find another therapist, and go through that for 6 months to a year before he considers a relationship. Because I can tell you, both sides are not right in this interaction. It's both of you have done too much, and now, if
Yeah.
look at it this way, right?
No, you're right. I agree.
When
Like we
you
did so much damage that it's like I don't know if it's like even going to be salvaged anymore. Like if there is a room for reconciliation. I did text him last night. I ended it, and I didn't end it. I said, listen, like clearly, like you're losing interest, and if that's the case, then just leave me alone in peace and let me heal. And then I texted him again this morning. I don't know why I did that, but I texted him a really raw and vulnerable message where I expressed my feelings and I told him exactly how I felt and that these guys don't mean anything to me. They're just friends. And he was just putting walls, like emotional walls, and he just not letting me in. So I expressed all that in a long, thoughtful message. And I was very vulnerable. And I told him I don't really do that, but like I did it for you. Like I'm just being vulnerable. And I told him like if you already moved on or if you don't have feelings anymore for me, then just don't even respond.
but see, here's the thing: you guys are not even supposed to be having these types of conversations.
Right, yeah.
You're not even in a relationship. You sound like you've been dating for 4 years. Like you don't. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is just activating all kinds of insecurities. It sounds like attachment styles. Like,
But I'm the issue. Like I'm the common denominator. All my relationship, I play with guys, and then
then
one
you
minute
then
later, I'm
you
like,
need
"Oh,
coaching. You need you
exactly.
work with me because that's
I will. I would like to. I would love to work with you because I
yeah.
was sabotaging things, and because things were wonderful. Like he was already talking about, let's meet your friends, my friends. I want to take things to the next level, and I am definitely the issue. I'm the toxic one. I'm not
Well,
attachment. Like I just like I love hard. Okay, when I like a guy, I want to see him, and I want to just I don't know, like I'm not clingy, but like I love too hard, and I show that. I don't know if this is overwhelming for some men, but
Well,
he's the one that told me he loves me though. So like, I
well,
was
because
just,
he's
I don't
matching
know.
your energy. You've met someone that's actually your match. Since you and I appreciate the fact that you're telling me this and that you're being open because I think the accepting it and like admitting it is the first step. But since you've accepted and admitted that about yourself right now, that you're not really in a healthy mindset when it comes to relationships, what you've done is you've met your equal. You've met a guy who is also unhealthy. So when he says he loves you, but at the same time isn't trying to be in a relationship with you, and then he starts blaming you for how you behaved for his reasoning, but yet still stays in your life, you're doing the same thing. So you just met a mirror, and that's why it's not going anywhere.
Yes, you're right.
It's almost like a trauma bond at this point.
Yeah, that's what I feel because I'm like, it hurts a lot, and I'm not able to leave. Like I'm not able to leave. I'm not sleeping well. I'm just constantly thinking about like being with him again. And the only reason why I flip on him honestly is because he does things like he like either just distance himself or put low effort into the dates, and I'm just kind of like I talk to him about it, and then we end up having
You know what it's
arguments.
like? It's like you've been eating unhealthy food for so long
Yeah.
and now you're addicted to it and you don't know how to eat healthy without wanting to barf. It's like you're you what you're telling yourself isn't actually the truth. But we can get into that more if we work together, but it's almost like you're telling yourself, well, I love hard and I love him or I'm feeling these things. These feelings may not be love. In fact, I'm pretty sure that they're not love. They're just
Okay.
their addiction, their codependency, insecurity. It's all of these things that wrapped up into a cocktail where if you
Okay.
call it love, that's actually working against you because you're spinning it in a positive light. Love doesn't work like this. Love is very easy, it's clear, it has its up and downs, but it's nowhere near at the frequency of your situation. So I think you might be gaslighting yourself, and that is enabling you to keep going.
Right. Um, I would like to absolutely like get some, dating coaching because, like I said, I've been ruining things
I
and
got you.
but like I'm so successful in life, but like when it comes to relationships, I'm just a complete idiot.
That's
And
okay.
even he said he's like your good looks like mean nothing. You're just good looking, but it doesn't mean I have to put up with your bullshit. Um, and I realize that now, but like I was vulnerable with him, and he was like active on social media, and he didn't even respond. So what I'm asking is at least like I don't know, like do you think from a guy's standpoint, like is he gonna answer or not really? Is he
But
not?
see, I don't consider him to be like the typical guy. I think he is mentally unstable. So if I'm going to give you an answer from an unstable mentally place, it'd be something like, who knows? I could see him calling you one minute saying he loves the crap out of you, and I could see him the next minute saying, I hate you, you should die. Like, these
Yeah.
types of people are not stable. So anything could happen. The bigger picture is how do we get you to a place where you don't have interactions with this kind of person?
So is it? Do you think like it's best to just move on?
I So here's what I would say. I can't give you the answer technically, but what I can say is this situation is clearly not bringing the best out of you, and I would work on you before anything.
Okay. Okay.
So I would consider that.
Because like if he doesn't answer, then I just feel humiliated.
We'll see that.
Like
Yeah, and
yeah.
that's the thing is you're saying, well, what if he does this and what if he does this? Like it's almost like your contingency plan is on what move he makes and not what you want. Like why are you kind of hedging your bets on his next move and not what you want? That's a sign of codependency right there. Like when he jumps, I'm ready. But until he does, I'm just going to sit here and think about it. See, it's like waiting on validation. You shouldn't have to feel that way either.
No, you're right, and I realize that. Like I realize the pattern that I'm doing, and
Yes.
But I would love to book a session with you. Is it on
Absolutely.
your page?
Yeah, or you can just send me a DM on through TikTok. I think you can. Hold on
Like
out.
101 from the live or something like that?
Yeah, let me see if I can. I don't know how to follow you. Whatever. Um, if you DM me, it should go through. If you can't DM me, then just click the link in the bio, and there should be a link to book like a first call with me, and I'll be able to get back to you.
Thank you so much for the advice. Really appreciate you. Thank you for your
No,
time.
absolutely. I got you covered. We'll work together. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right, bye. Yeah. Who else is calling? We got more people. Oops, I didn't mean that. Sorry, there was one of you were calling and I tried to hit the accept button, but I hit the X. I don't know who it was. If you're trying to be a guest, let me know and I'll get you on. Waiting for marriage as well. A lot of people do it, man, especially people who are like religious. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it. Now, you know what? I take that back. No, I couldn't do it. Could I? Thank you so much for 1,000 years. Thank you. I don't know. I guess it depends on the situation. Thank you so much. Thank you for the heart. You are awesome with the gifts. Thank you. Thank you. You know I got you. Because here's the thing. When you're in situations like that, and this is for everybody, right? Everybody on live today. When you're in situations like that with a person and it's just so chaotic, the first thing you got to look at is what can I do, right? Because what our natural instinct says is like, well, let's look at what they're doing, right? Let's act based on what they're doing. But the bigger picture is you can just control yourself. You can't control them. You don't want to control them, right? You don't want to do that. Let them be them, but be yourself and be the best version of yourself that you can be. Look at dating as like a job transition, right? Like I'm really just figuring out if you're good and I'm good and we're stable enough to make this work, right? And then if we're stable enough to make this work, let's give us a promotion to a relationship. If you're thinking of a business, if you're a business partner, if you're choosing a person that is erratic and they can't get their thoughts together and they're always all over the place and they're making bad decisions, that's not good for a partnership. And emotions, if you don't have a handle on your emotions, that's not going to be good for a relationship because a relationship requires much more than just emotional connection. It requires good behavior, objective points of view. It's a business, y'all. And I think we've gotten it twisted up because a lot of these movies and stuff probably got in our heads. And emotions are really like the 10 to 20% of it. The rest of it is like, how do you get to business together? Been in that situation for about 6 years now. It's hard to get out. It's hard emotionally. But see, that's a sign that you're not ready for a relationship either. If you find yourself in a relationship with someone for years and it's emotionally chaotic and it's overall chaotic and you can't find a way out, then that means you yourself are not ready for a stable relationship. See, that's what I'm saying. You don't have the tools yet, which is okay, but you don't have the tools yet or the wherewithal to remove yourself from situations like this and navigate out of it. Because when you're in a healthy situation, there's going to be more challenges there. There's going to be challenges from the outside. There's going to be challenges from the streets. You better make sure that you can keep yourself in check. Because if you can't, you're going to ruin that. What's the benefit of getting married? I think there's a lot of benefits. Personally, I think number one, you've got one person forever. You don't have to be outside. You don't have to be out here in this crazy dating scene. You have to hopefully not worry about STDs or getting any more, right? I think that it's just a partnership. I think for people who are religious, because I'm be honest, like I feel like marriage is kind of like a religious thing, more so. And if you believe in that, then I would say it's more of a spiritual thing too. Like you guys have claimed each other under God at this point, and you're gonna move together in that fashion, which will help you not only in the physical realm but in the spiritual realm as well. And that's gonna be there's a lot of benefits there, right? So I know there's a lot of stigmas behind marriage being this institution that makes people crazy. Um, Here's the thing. I don't think that marriage makes people crazy. I think people decide to be crazy. But of course, we always want to blame it on everything else. Like we do that. We choose to not act correctly when we get married, right? Because literally, you could do the same things that you would do if you weren't married. But for some reason, when people start getting married, they start acting different. I think you know what messes up marriage is the expectations. I think sometimes we have the wrong expectations of what marriage and love is, and then we get in it and we're like, "Oh, this is not cute." Xavier, why do you think that happens when women stay or men stay? You mean in bad relationships? The reason why people stay in bad relationships is because they haven't. It's the same reason why people keep eating bad food and don't make their lives healthier, right? Number one is probably an urge. Like, so here's the thing. Think of it in other terms, right? Like letting your house get messy. My house is messy. Maybe I grew up in a messy house and that's what I'm used to. And that's just my natural way. Maybe I'm just lazy. Maybe something about the mess makes me feel good, even though I know it's not good for me. Eating bad food. Why do people do any of these things? Because people do those things all the time and they don't stop. Like, are you gonna eat bad food every week? Like, are you gonna drink all the time? Like, at some point, are we not gonna make changes? Why don't they do it? So usually there's so many reasons, I can't give you one. But I could say if you look at other situations where people indulge in things that are not good for them and they don't stop, there's usually some relatability there. And here's the thing, most people, a lot of people that do these behaviors normally don't change until they're desperate enough. That's another thing I realized. You have to get to a point you have a certain amount of failures or a certain amount of things go wrong. See, the trick in life is to get there before, right? Before you make too many mistakes. But that's not the way the world works. I mean, I did it too, right? I was so ignorant. I had a big ego, all the pride, and that's why I was toxic when I was younger. Because of that, I lost a lot of great women and a lot of years that I could have built something with her, right? That was on me. And I didn't learn until I lost like 2 or 3 really good women that I was like, I need to chill. Sometimes that's what it takes. So we all struggle with something and we're all fighting something, you know, and that's pretty much what a part of life is having to always fight off those things that make you lesser. And I think that's what it is. You know, it's just all our own personal struggles. Have to be honest with yourself. Yep. All right, I got a call. Let's jump back on a call. Let's do it, baby. Leah,
Hey, how are you?
good. How you doing, girl?
Good.
What's going on?
Oh my gosh, I guess I'm in a bad relationship for a long time now.
Oh, baby, tell me about it. What do you want to stay in it or do you want to leave? Like, what's the goal?
Well, I don't know. It's been about a year for a long time for me because I was married for a while. And then I divorced and I what I got out of that. And now I'm in another bad relationship.
So, so you've been in one before and you ended up in another one? The people are
Guess I
saying
never learned my lesson.
the people are saying something about an echo. Do you know what they're talking about?
Yeah, I just freaking put my earbud in.
Oh, okay. So learn your lesson. That's an interesting. So do you know why you keep ending up in these types of relationships?
I'm an empath who's attracted to narcissists.
So what does it have to do with empathy?
I am drawn to these assholes.
Drawn how?
I always want to help them.
Do you think they need your help?
Yeah.
Did they tell you that?
I don't know how to explain it.
Well, did they actually say, hey, I need your help, and then you sign up, or do you just assume that they do because you see things wrong?
I think that they need rescuing, and I always want to rescue them.
So you think, so normally that mentality would mean that you think you can rescue them.
And they can't be rescued.
Well, hey, maybe they can be, but that would mean that you have to be better at whatever field that they're messing up in. So do you think that you have the tools to help them? Like, are you above what they're facing and you're able to keep them out of it? Or, because I mean, the fact that you're telling me I'm in a relationship that's toxic again, and it's because I'm an empath and I want to help them, but yet I'm also indulging into a relationship with someone who's toxic. You see the contradiction there? Is like, if you're better than them, then why are you getting in a relationship?
I'm definitely not better than them, but
So you can't help them.
I guess I just want them to feel, I don't know,
What? You think that there's a,
secure.
why do you want them to feel that?
I just want people to be okay.
What does that mean?
I don't want people to suffer.
Okay. So why do you have to, first we said you're helping them. Now we've also established that you said you're not better than them in this field. So if they're suffering and you're dating them, but you think you align with that, then doesn't that technically mean that you're suffering too?
That's been the obvious situation in my past.
So you're telling yourself something that's not exactly what's happening here. You're two suffering people that have aligned.
Yeah.
That's the real story, which is fine, right? But because of that, when you say things like I'm helping you and I'm an empath, that is enabling yourself to keep indulging because you're telling yourself, I'm good. See, like empathy is a positive thing, right? Help is positive. What you're doing is not positive. It is,
Right.
but it's fine. But what that sounds like is you are a person that needs to feel this thing too, as well as this person, and you guys bond together off of that.
So I'm enabling them and I'm getting something out of it.
Well, you're enabling them and yourself.
Yeah.
So it's both. And you're telling yourself that it's the opposite. Because here's the thing, people are in charge of their own vessels, right? We are in charge of getting our lives on track. If someone can help us, that would be nice, but that doesn't mean that you have to lower the quality of your life in order to help this person. And it's a little bit counterproductive to help them and also be with them in a relationship, because that's like me being in a relationship coach and then I'm helping someone and they're my client and then I start dating them and then I get upset at them because they're having these behaviors. I'm supposed to be better than that, right? I'm supposed to set the example. So you're being in a teacher position, but you don't have the tools. So it's like excusing yourself. I think what might need to happen is you may need to look internally, right? Like, what about you feels like you need to go after these types of men to feel better? Why can't you go after men that are not toxic, that don't need your help?
Right.
Are they not attractive to you?
I just sometimes, I don't even know. I've always been after the same guy.
Why? Why that particular guy?
I wish I knew.
Okay. So there are deeper questions I can go to. I don't know if you want to do it on this live, but normally
Well, I
this is,
DM'd you, just so you know.
yeah, this is where I would normally ask, did something happen a long time ago? Like, something to make you feel like, because here's the thing. Let me ask you this. Would you say this guy is on a low standard?
He doesn't think so.
Well, I'm asking you.
So I'm more successful than him.
Okay, so quality of treatment, right? If we look at quality of treatment, like reasonable, mentally stable, emotionally regulated, supportive, does he have those qualities?
So honestly, he's an alpha male.
What does that mean?
He's very domineering.
Why?
So he feels that the traditional relationship is very important, but he's a little intimidated by my success because in the workforce, I'm very successful. So in our personal lives, he is very domineering.
What do you mean by domineering?
Like he'll tell me if I stand up to him in any way, if I call him out on anything, he tells me, you're being aggressive. And that could just be pointing out something very simple, like, oh, you said this. And he'll be like, don't be so aggressive. It could be very simplistic.
So you'll say something, I guess, there's like a critique or something, or just, and he will say something like, you're being aggressive. So my question
I
to
have
you,
to be very apologetic to him to calm him down.
that's not an alpha man. That's not, if he's losing his temper that quickly, that's not an alpha man. That's a boy who's trying to appear as an alpha man. Like, because here's the thing, good men, leader type men have something called emotional regulation. So they know how to make sure that their emotions are in check when they're trying to deliver how they feel. And they also are open to someone having a difference of opinion. So this dude doesn't have emotional intelligence down. That's not an alpha. That's not a leader. The reason why he has to dominate is because he's insecure overall. So what I'm thinking is that, oh, I see what's going on here. You don't think this man is on your level.
Me?
Yeah, you don't. Because your first thought was, I think he needs help. I'm attracted to men that need help. Then you said, I make more money than him. Then this dude thinks he's an alpha or dominant, but he's really emotionally deregulated. These guys normally don't leave. And if they do, they have trouble with it because they're not emotionally stable.
I guess for me, like, it's weird. I was married 18 years. I was a stay-at-home mom. I married very, very, very young.
Okay.
I was married 18 years, and then I went back to work. And I excelled really fast within a few years in my career. And then I met him, and I'm still a very traditional woman who is what I guess guys would call submissive, because I'm very much a homemaker.
Okay.
But I'm also at a high position in my job. So that's what it is.
Right, but also you're with a man that's not emotionally intelligent. So even though you're doing so great at your job, you come home to a guy who is literally like a emotional reliant on you. Because in order for you guys to be stable, you have to bring him back down. So that means he is a little bit codependent because he can't function in the relationship unless you take on more of the burden. So not only are you taking more financially, but also you're being the emotional weight that he needs. You're the punching bag he needs when he's not got it together. So in a way, it's almost like you're saying you're traditional, but you're kind of the guy in this relationship if we look at societal standards. You make more money, you're more emotionally intelligent, you're the leader right now. Everything that you don't want to be or that you say you're not is actually what's happening. I think there's when you're talking, you're saying the opposite of what you continue to do.
It's hard.
I think that you might be not telling yourself the truth in a lot of ways, and that's what's causing a lot of this confusion.
Part of me wants to just be a stay-at-home person, but I have to survive. I am a go-getter. I was raised to be that way, but I like being at home and taking care of my man, but I don't take crap either.
Right, but that's exactly what's happening. Is you're taking crap. I think, yeah. Your reality isn't matching what is
I know,
going
it's
on.
a mess.
You're gonna have to become comfortable with reality.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Because I think what you're doing is you're not comfortable with the reality. You clearly don't like it. You think this guy's beneath your standard and you don't like this position. But you're telling yourself things to make it seem more okay, which is in turn gaslighting yourself. But then reality will still keep hitting you. The longer you stay in this, no matter how much you try to cope, it's going to keep breaking you because he's going to do things that go out of term of what you're looking for. So if you don't find a way to become comfortable with reality, cognitive dissonance, that is the perfect word. So if you don't find a way to become more comfortable with your reality, and you can do that working with me, it's going to destroy you. Thank you, Steph. Usually what I see when people do this is extreme depression.
Okay.
Because your nervous system cannot handle, most people's nervous system cannot handle this misalignment for so long. At least not without majorly traumatizing you or making something deeper happen, because it's not going in the right route. It's gonna hurt. And you still have a chance now to kind of, let's start working through that. But yeah, the longer you stay in this, the worse it's gonna get. Because you're gonna have to keep lying to yourself.
Yeah, I see that.
That's the only way to keep this going, is to lie to yourself, because the reality is it's not your standard.
It's like living two lives or something.
Yeah, you're lowering your standard through your actions, but you're telling yourself it's not that bad. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm eating raw fish out the ocean and I'm telling myself it's cooked chicken. Like it's gonna, you know, and then I'm wondering why my stomach hurts later. Reality is just gonna keep slapping me in the face until I start to, like, you know, be real with myself.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. If you need anything else, send me a DM. You know where to find me.
I definitely did send you a DM.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Well, that's cool. Well, I'm glad we got a chance to talk. Hopefully that brings a little bit more clarity.
It definitely does. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Let me know if you need anything else. All right, bye.
Bye.
Everybody give love to Leah. She got on here, all her bravery, told her story. Because here's the thing. Here's what misalignment, what was the other word that you used? The word is cognitive dissonance. It's when you tell yourself something, but you're doing the opposite. And normally it's one of those coping mechanisms that's not exactly healthy, right? It's you're trying to, you know, cope with the reality by telling yourself it's not that bad. And it's not good for you because it is pretty much tearing you away from your real self. And just like any lie, the only way to keep the story going is to keep lying to yourself and lying and lying and lying. And you get to the point that not only do you completely lose yourself, you lose your identity, and then you start to become extremely miserable and depressed. It is very bad for you. It's like drinking poison. Good job, thank you. Lordy, that just about killed me. She said, Lordy. No, I did that too. I did that when I was younger. A lot, you know. I did that a lot. Nailed it. Yes, I read books, y'all. I read books. Besides, cognitive dissonance is one of the biggest things I see in the relationship and dating field. That's actually quite frequent. That happens a lot. You know, a lot of us do that because, you know, everybody does this. I would say a good amount of people do it. We get tired of meeting the wrong people. We get tired of being out here dating, and we just search for something that's a little bit below our standard, thinking maybe I was too hard, maybe I can date someone at this standard, and then we end up hating it. But now we're attached. You can still get attached to people that are below your standard. That's the crazy thing about lowering standards. You can still get attached. So if you spend time with someone that's below your standard enough, especially if you're dating from a void, and what I mean by dating from a void is I'm like, you have a void, right? Like, if you haven't dated someone in a while, you might be missing that feeling. Or if you had someone and they left. So now when you go back out into the dating field, you may tell yourself you have high standards, but the reality is you don't. So your void has more dictatorship than your mental ever will, right? Like if you're dating and you have a void, it's like going to the grocery store hungry. You go there, when you ate, you're picky. I only need this, I only need this. Good, $60 for the week, right? And when you hungry, everything looks good. I never tried this before. This looks cool. I'm buying this. So, you know, it's being cognizant of when you're dating and you haven't had someone in a while, realizing where it's coming from, right? Because there's other factors that play with us when we're dating out here. Looking outside myself to heal my inner wounds. Yeah. Had not had anyone in over 10 years, found my peace spending time with my dog. Hey, well, if it works, no one can tell you otherwise, baby. You got your dog, I got my dog. Xavier, thank you for what you're doing. It's the first time watching your live, but your reels are helping me nowadays. I left my partner in January, covert narcissist. I see that now, but still can't be. Well, thank you for that message. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate it, because I'm going to get y'all out. You know this about me. By the way, for those of you that are new to the live, that are here, remember, send me a DM with the word ready if you want to get a spot for Wednesday, because we always do it. I gave a test to my people last week. We have a big event. We have big meetings, right? Hold on. Ugh. Get up. Get up. Yep, we got big meetings. So make sure you sign up and you get more information, way more than you do online. I'm new every time. More questions, y'all. They can't even ask questions. Everybody's distracted by the dog. Yeah, my dog, she looks up like that because she needs eye contact. So annoying, man. Like, I will sit on the couch next to her and then I'll pet her. She's like, no, you gotta look at me. If I don't look in her eyes, she starts to get upset at me. How did that happen? In a relationship, but don't hear from daily, maybe every other day or 2 days, what it says working long hours. He's lying to you. He's lying to you, Tony. Like a woman. Well, technically, she is a woman or girl dog. You get it. I posted another question. Can you post it again? I've got like 3 different chats going on. Why do some men want the woman to make the first move these days? Because they're scared. How do you start building up your self-confidence? By making decisions that make you proud of yourself. Confidence comes from the decisions you make. The more you make better decisions, the better you will feel about yourself. Make decisions, like get used to saying the word no. No, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to feel this way. No, I don't like that. When you start, stuff like that will start to make you feel better about it. You have to act as if, and then eventually it becomes easier. But if you don't start playing the role, then it's going to be a lot harder. Think about it. Why do some men want sometimes I feel like I can't trust myself for the next relationship that I will fall into the same track. And that's good. That means you need help. If you feel like you don't know if you can trust yourself to make the right decisions for the next relationship, get help. Sign up with me. Work with me. So the woman should make the first move? I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I think that both men and women, usually in society, it's been the man who approaches the woman. But I don't look at it as a gender-based thing. I look at it as a people-based thing. I don't think because men are scared, you should approach. I think you should do whatever works for you. But I don't think there's anything wrong with either person approaching. If you see someone is cute, let them know. I have women approach me sometimes, and I end up taking them out on a date. Sometimes I didn't even know you were an option, right? Like it's too like, I think we need to get past, the whole who approaches who, right? Now you could, like I said, do what you want, but I think that it doesn't matter because that might be your husband. Then when I smile, they get really scared, or so it seems. I don't know if why would someone get scared if you smile? How to stop loving your abuser. It sounds so simple from the outside, but the trauma bond is real. So it's gonna take practice, right? Because something in you has gotten used to the idea of being attached to an abuser. So what you're gonna need is practice detaching. Works at a hotel resort, 12 hours a day. Yeah, but the fact that he goes a full 24 hours without saying anything, that's crazy. So what is he doing outside those 12 hours? Relationships have never been peaceful, but my dog does. Well, when you are first talking, how much should you expect someone to text or call? I think there's no expectation, right? I wouldn't have any expectation. I would just look at who they are and just see what they do, right? Everyone's different. Sometimes I've talked to someone where we texted like twice a day and then we met up for a date. I texted someone who likes to text all day long. It's different per the person, right? I think what matters more is, like what aligns better with you, right? But when it's at first, I would have zero expectations. In fact, I'm normally, if I'm dating at first, I'm talking to multiple people. So I just chill. Because honestly, I feel like you don't really know if someone's really for you until you spend at least 2 to 3 months with them, right? Like, because you could be texting in the beginning, but it doesn't mean that you're their number one pick. Like, they might still have options. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Is that a mini golden doodle? No, this is a Cockapoo and Bichon mix. So it's a, how do you, Cockapoo-chan? I don't even know what that means. It feels like I have to choose between a man who can protect me physically or emotionally, not both. Well, that's because that's what you've seen, but you have to keep going. You can get both. You can get both. That just means you haven't run into it yet. And then I would ask, how many guys do you talk to? Right? Because it's 2, right? If one, for example, one is where environments are you meeting these guys? And number 2, how many guys are you talking to? Because there is going to be a guy out there that's going to give you both, but you'd have to run through the numbers, right? I just bought one a couple months ago. Oh, you did? You bought it? You got a cockapoo? They're so nice. They're people dogs. I didn't know that. I take her to the park. I'm like, why are you going up to people? Yeah, because I guess the Cocker Spaniel is like a whole thing. Cocker Spaniels usually, they're like people dogs. What to pay attention to in the first 2 dates to not get the wrong woman. I'm a male. So you want to know what to look for in a woman on the first 2 dates? Look at how much she does what she says. It's the same thing I would say about a guy, right? There's really not too much of a difference. Does what you say match what you do in the first 2 dates? And I would have my standards ready. Are you looking for a relationship? Are you looking for a marriage? Are you looking to settle down? Do you want children? I get that out the way very early. I don't care what people tell me. Like, oh, it's too soon. No, you're just not serious. You know what I mean? Like, I can be light and stuff. Don't get me wrong. I have fun. But at the same time, I'm going to list out some things that are deal breakers because why should we even talk further? I'm not about wasting time. I don't care. I don't care about, and people will tell you this all the time, like, oh, you shouldn't be talking about blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, I agree. But at the same time, like, if we meet off like a dating app, I'm like, nah, man. First of all, you're not even getting on a date with me unless I talk to you. I'm not about to get dressed, leave the house, spend money on a date, and I don't even know if you want to have kids. Nah, man. Forget all of that. You gotta know your deal breakers as quickly as possible. That's number one. Don't even talk to them if they hit a deal breaker. Don't even waste your time. That's where you gotta hold true to your standards. Your standards are there to protect you. It does keep you single sometimes, but it protects you. How long should you talk before the first date? I don't think it matters. Like, it could be a week or two. I'm usually good with about a week. It depends on how we met, though. Like, if I met you at like a bar, I can see you the next day or in the next couple days, But if it's through a dating app, I'm gonna probably have a phone call first and then schedule it a few days later. Yeah, standards keep you from wasting your time. I usually tell guys that approach me saying I'm pretty, I ask them not to do that. Find something interesting to say and go try again. Wow. Well, what's wrong with a guy saying that you're pretty? That's the first thing they notice, right? Boundaries, when to say no, when to say yes, to take control of your life by Dr. Henry Cloud. Oh, okay. I have a Belgian wolf hybrid, keeps people away. Truth, the day should mean something. Yeah, man. See, and it's like, I feel like they always try to tell, especially women, they try to tell women you shouldn't be talking about that too fast. You don't want to scare the guy away. Just another thing to make women not protect themselves. It's like whenever a woman wants to protect herself, they always got some problem with that. Like, oh, well, you shouldn't be a prude. You shouldn't wait so long to kiss or to sleep with the guy. You shouldn't be talking about all of these things on the first date. It's like, do women's standards scare you? Is that the real story here? A woman that has standards, is that scary for you? Do you feel like you want to run away from a woman that has a standard? Is that the real truth here? People are weird, man. Expectations can change over time of the relationship. Exactly. I have kids. I don't want nobody to use me. Sometimes I don't even feel like dating. Well, that's the thing, is you don't have to date, technically. You can just get to know people, right? But you can't be used if you don't let them use you, too. I always dreamt of being married. My ex didn't believe in it, and I kind of accepted it like other things. He always had this marriage is just paper talk. Well, yeah, that's someone you should have cut off. He should have never been your boyfriend to begin with. So what happens if several guys say that each time I'm out, give everyone attention or help them have a better way to start a conversation? So here's what I think. I think that it's if someone notices something about you, that's their first impression, right? They haven't spoken to you yet. So I'm just saying, like, if you're attractive and that's what they notice, they're just saying their honest opinion. If you turn it around and say, don't say that, you got to say this, but that's what comes naturally to them. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, someone's natural maneuvers is who they are, and that's just what it is. If you don't like it, then you can just not entertain it. But I think it's hard to not use, because I compliment women. If I see her, I'm gonna compliment her shoes. Like, do you apply the same standard to women? Like, if they say, hey, I like your outfit or I like your hair, you're so pretty, do you say, here's how you talk to me? I'm just saying. So what is the truth? How do men want to see a woman? What do they want? I know that's a lot. There's no universal way to ask that question, right? Or to answer that. Every guy is different. Now a lot of them do some of the same things, but it shouldn't matter what a guy wants to see. What matters is that you maintain your standards and a guy will meet it. That's it. Don't worry about what all these guys want and what they're all looking for, because more than half of them are confused to damn anyway. So you will confuse yourself trying to figure out what all of these guys want or what they're looking for. Don't worry about that. If you have standards, there will be a guy that will meet that standard, and just keep it until it happens. Don't worry about what they want. Thank you for the rose, Leah. Thank you. Thank you for the rose. Leaves the door window open for communication. I mean, do you not want the door open? So more reason to send them on their way. Oh, so you just don't want to talk to them. Yeah, you can just say thanks and move on, or you can just say, it's up to you, but if you don't want to talk to these guys, and you don't even have to take it. I thought you wanted to talk to them. Maybe I was off here. A little nervous, have a meeting next week. What meeting? They don't even know what they want. Hell yeah. You know how many times a guy will say, I want all these things, and then do the opposite? That's most of society in general. A lot of people in society are shit talkers. Like, let's just call it what it is. Like, a lot of people be talking, man. They'll say things that, oh, I want this, and my standards are to the roof, and I only want this kind of person with this kind of life, and this and this and this. Yet they do the complete opposite. You can't really listen to people's words like you used to. They're full of it. To have every person that thinks I'm good looking, no. Okay, then you just don't have to talk to them. I think it's pretty simple. Oh, you have a new guy? Do you have to do what? Did you type that right? Hey, love your content, cute pup. Thank you so much, Nova. For the actions, yep. How about saying thanks for the compliment and keep walking if not interested? That's what they were saying on my TikTok. The ladies at TikTok are coming after you a little bit. I didn't expect that. All right, Lorelai, you can't make up your mind. You want to lay down, you want to get up, you want to lay down, you want to get up, you want to lay down, you want to get up. You're a narcissist. Narcissist dog. You don't know what you want. Yes, I've been single for a while again, just wasn't feeling the vibe, but I think I am ready. Okay, how long have you been talking to him? And where'd you find him? Why do men say that communication is key, but then gets upset when you express your feelings? Because they can't communicate. See, here's the thing: a lot of what these guys are saying is just regurgitated. They're just saying what they want. They're just saying what sounds good at that point, right? Oh, well, I wanna grow who communicates, yet they don't communicate. They're BSing you. You could just smile and say hi. I think you're gonna have a conflict with just a lot of society with what you want, which is fine. But most people say, when they find someone attractive, that's what they're gonna say. So you can go that route, but I'm just saying that's what it's gonna be. I know I do it. So if I think you're pretty and I walk up to you, I'm gonna tell you. I don't care. Just curious why it's bad for a guy to say you are pretty unless they're acting creepy. I don't know. I think it's this is the first time I've heard that. She said she doesn't want every single guy to just approach her saying that she's pretty and then have that lead to a conversation. And I think that if she would rather, if a guy is going to start a conversation, not start it based off how she looks. So I think that's what she was trying to say. But they only approach him because they want to get ass. That's what she just said. I think that says more about how you might be viewing yourself, because that's not true for every guy. I know I don't think that every time. I'm not like, oh my goodness, can't wait to get some. Like, I honestly, sometimes I'm looking at her thinking that she could be wifey. I don't know. Should your guy be following and liking other girls? Are you talking about your guy? Because your guy is unstable. I'm not sure we can apply regular rules to this guy. Why can't someone go out and not be approached? Like, is that the main reason someone left the house? I don't know. That's what society is. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you should wear a sign that says "Don't approach me." I think guys say you're pretty to say they're interested to start a conversation. I know that's why I do it. Now, I'm sure there are some guys out here who will approach you and say that because they're thinking of, you think she's trolling? That's why I'm entertaining it, because I'm like, but yeah, no, to apply a universal rule to every person is just, nah, that's a little bit of projection. I'm probably going to need to move. My options aren't clear yet. It's been 2 years together. I've never met a single family member or friend. And you spent 2 years with him? You spent 2 years with him? I don't know. I don't know who to look at right here, because you're saying it's been 2 years and you've never met a family or friend, but why did you spend 2 years throughout that entire 2 year period? What would be good questions to ask so you would not waste your time with someone? You have to get in my private group for that. That's what I tell people who are in my private group. I'm proclaiming my truth, but my next step isn't clear yet. I feel like I'm waiting for an opportunity. Okay. I invested too much time. No, you wasted your time. That is a waste. Now, technically, yes, it is an investment, but that's also a waste. That is a waste of time. To spend time 5 years with someone, and the intention is to have bonded with them and let you in, and they didn't give you that, the entire time was a waste. Move on from that whole situation. And you see, I'm already off the topic. I'm off the topic. I recently met someone I really like, but he lives in another state and travels for work. Okay, so that's a little bit like an LDR. I feel like I keep measuring every date against him. Well, you're already in a rocky situation. I mean, if we're gonna keep it real, it doesn't sound like he exactly has a stable life, right? That's not a stable situation. To live in another state is already a problem, but then he travels too. So I think you need to ask yourself, can you handle this? Had a date last night. He asked, would I like to have lunch today? I declined. He had a date last night. He asked, would I like to have lunch today? I declined. Was I wrong? No. You don't have to go out with him tomorrow. I mean, you already hung out last night. That's okay. Did you suggest another day? Clearly, he still wants to see you, probably likes you. How can you get them to take you seriously when your size and job are novelty? What are you talking about? What does that mean? You travel too? So that's what I'm trying to figure out, if I can handle it or if it's worth it since I travel too. Yeah, because if you guys aren't going to be, now, unless you're okay with that, if you're okay with having someone where you're both going to be all over the place, not able to see each other, I mean, maybe you can handle that. If you can't, and you'd rather be in a more stable relationship where you guys see each other more consistently and you don't have to worry about distance and all of that, then maybe. So I think you have to measure like the reality of the situation. Like, is this realistic for you? What do you think about long distance relationships? I think that they require a lot more work than a short distance. I think it's a little bit unrealistic sometimes, but I have seen it work. I do think that they can work. I do think that I've seen success. But yes, it is a lot tougher than having someone short distance. I wouldn't recommend it. If you can stay out of one, please. But if you get in one, you're going to have to apply some rules. It's going to be a lot of rules. Xavier goes crazy. How you doing, girl? Good to see you again. It's been a minute. You know, I'm still out here, still doing the social media thing. Dated for 2 months, went on a couple of dates. When we supposed to be intimate, he didn't show up. What? Dated for 2 months, went on a couple dates. Wait a minute. You dated for 2 months and only had a couple dates? Like, what is... And when we're supposed to be intimate, what? Why am I not understanding this question? What do you mean when we were supposed to be intimate? Did y'all plan to sleep together? Like, the whole question is throwing me for a loop right now. Hey, Moni, what's up, girl? Thanks. Is it smart to extend the time you have a second date? I think you kind of just got to go with the flow. You know what I mean? Like, it should be more natural, right? Like, you don't have to like put a time limit on it or anything. I think that it's also important not to give someone too much of your time when you just start dating, because you don't want them to think that, you know, they can just have you as long as they want you. But I also think there's an element of like, just go with the flow until, you know, just don't go too far, right? Like, you don't need to go sleeping with them and it's like date 2, right? When traumatized, it takes 2+ years to open up. So I do believe in your coaching, X. Thank you so much. Thank you. Absolutely. I called out a man for lying to me, withholding information, and he blocked me after I called him out. Huh? I called out a man for lying to me, withholding information. He blocked me. I'm still unsure why I was blocked. You were blocked because you held him accountable. He don't want to be held accountable. See, you know what the funny part is? And it's not you, right? But in society, I think we're still kind of getting used to the idea that people don't want to be held accountable. You know, some people just don't care to be held accountable. They don't want you to call them out on their BS. They just want to keep doing the same thing and getting away with it. And then we hold them accountable and they act crazy. And we're like, why do they act like that? Because they don't want that. Being told that you're wrong, being told that you got something wrong that you were trying to do right, some people hate that. They just want to be told they're right all the time and move on. But those people are not good for relationships. They are horrible for relationships. Isn't life about growth and development? Not for everybody. You can't apply that rule to everyone. Not everybody wants to grow and develop, and not everybody wants to hear it from you. So what you have to do is find someone that is like that, and then also find someone that respects you enough to listen to you. Because number one, if they don't respect you, they ain't gonna listen. And then number two, if they're not about that, then you're wasting your time. So the trick is, don't waste your time. Go through people quickly. Is it weird if he wants me to meet his family but hasn't asked me to be his GF? I wouldn't say that's weird, but I would just be curious how he's introducing you. I would use that. Honestly, I don't think I want to meet someone's family until I know I'm like with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to meet your parents unless we're together. So what I would say is, how are you introducing me as? And if he says, oh, well, we just cool, I'm gonna be like, no, that's okay. Don't let him take you around his family and you have to be all nice and cordial and like, oh, hi, you're a dad. Oh, yeah. Putting you through all that emotional stuff and then he's just gonna dip. Like, you bet, nah, man, I don't want to meet your damn parents. You gonna claim me first, like, cause this is crazy. Would it be wrong to lie about my job to avoid treat like a novelty? Massage therapist. Here's what I would say. Don't lie about your job. Just don't lie about your job. You know, you can lie, but then technically you're going to find, if you find that one person the relationship works out with and they find out you lied, that could hurt you down the road. Unfortunately, yeah, you're gonna face some people who's gonna act funny about the job because that's just the way it goes. People are judgy. I have the same problem. When I tell people I do social media or I'm an influencer or I'm a dating coach, I get you know the kind of looks I get like out in society. So I tried to do that. I tried to lie about it, and that wasn't good. So here's what you can do. Instead of saying, a lie, talk about a certain element of the job that doesn't sound as like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of me saying I'm a dating and relationship coach, I just say I help people through mental health. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be like, oh, how to date 101. And then they're like, oh, so what do you hitch? Like, so that's something that you can do that may not come off as like that, but technically it's still the same thing. Met on a Friday. By Sunday, they're giving the I like you more than me speech because I've been calling you more. It's barely been 2 full days. Red flag. Yeah, that dude has major issues. He has probably some severe anxious attachment. That is a bad situation. That person is already causing problems and it's only been a couple days. Get out. Abort, abort, abort. Why does he treat me like he hates me? No communication, but still wants to have with me. I don't get it. Why be intimate? Because he's objectifying you. That's what some guys do. They look at you as something to use and not something to respect. Amen. Yes, they don't want to be heard accountable. Guy wanted to sleep with multiple women, and I asked him about it. He got mad. Oh, yeah, he's going to get mad. Oh, yeah. Some people hate that. He ended up messing with someone there, then came home to me telling them I'm his cousin. Wait, what? How to get out of being objectified, change the person. You just got to keep going through people, right? It's more of like a per the person thing. People are going to objectify you. Some people are going to hate you. Some people are narcissists. Some people are psychopaths. Some people are sociopaths. Some people are masochists. Some people are, kink. There's so many different kinds of people. The only thing you can do is change the person. If the person is objectifying you, change it. So you can't change the image. I mean, what does it matter? Someone's going to objectify you regardless of how you look. There are women that wear a cloak, a garb, and all you can see is their eyes, right? And guys will still objectify them. It don't matter. What matters is the mentality of the person. But I would say to keep yourself from those situations, just make sure you entertain only a certain standard and keep a certain standard with yourself as well. How do you feel if a woman gives husband a strong stance on how they want to be treated? What am I supposed to feel about that? I mean, I think that it's good to always, talk about how you need to be treated. The fact that you need a strong stance says that maybe you're not being heard enough if you need it to be strong, What is a good first date place to learn about someone? I'd say like an activity. Now sometimes, I know we can sit down and have a coffee. I say an activity like a walk in the park, and some ice cream, maybe go to like Top Golf, like do things that, are fun. Have fun together. Have fun together. Love that shirt. Thank you so much. I'm wearing the right shirt now. Says she still wants to take care of me. You're still in communication with her. If you're still communicating. You're giving her the wrong message by communicating with her. This is on you now. This is not even on her. You know she's a narcissist. You know she keeps messaging you, and you know that she's using every access that she can. And you knew this forever ago. So now you're saying to her, "Don't talk to me. You got to block her at that point. I'm just saying, like, and you're still paying attention to the messages. See, when I get someone out of my life, I make it so there's no way they can get in touch with me, and there's no way for me to hear about it. Once you're gone, you're gone. Ha, that's funny. What is a good, okay, I'm thinking bowling is cool. How do I set a boundary when he treats me like a girlfriend but won't make me his girlfriend? Stop letting him treat you like a girlfriend. That's a boundary. Hey, this is something I do when I'm normally in a relationship. I normally give a person this much time when I'm in a relationship. I normally give you that information when I'm in a relationship. You gotta start upping your price. You know, you can't let these guys get a hold of you and they haven't spent the adequate amount of time and effort with you. If he's getting all this girlfriend time and he's not your boyfriend, then he's gonna have no reason to ask you. You gave him everything. I was cheated on gay pride and they brought the person to my house telling the person on his cousin? What does that even mean? On his cousin? Or that I'm his cousin? And they brought the person to my house telling the person I'm his cousin. What do? You need to reevaluate this whole relationship. The heck does that even mean? You just got straight up disrespected. 2 ways. I've been verbally abused. My guy, he's forgotten my birthday twice, but is jealous as hell. I can't seem to let go. You need to work on that. Because if you got verbally abused and this guy's treating you bad, yet you can't walk away, there's something going on with you. I would say, work with someone. You can work with me. By the way, for those of you who want to work with me, I know there's new people coming through on live all the time, so sorry if I sound like a broken record. But send me a DM with the word ready if you want to join my exclusive group or get a one-on-one with me. Why do men say they don't deserve you and you deserve better? It's a bait and switch. They're lying to you. They say that because the reality is they want you to lower your standard. They know that they're below your standard and they know that they don't want to work on becoming better. So they're telling you to lower it. That's what he's doing. Meta contrarian, can it work? We bump heads a lot. Personally, for me, I cannot date someone like that. Like, that is one of the worst people. Whenever they're just contrary to everything I say for no reason. Like, you're not even saying this because you actually believe it. You just have to always find some disagreement in what I'm saying. Like, I get it. Sometimes we don't have to have the same opinion, but when someone's dedicated to being contrarian, it's so annoying. Like, personally, I can't do it, but maybe there are people that can do it. Maybe you might find some joy in that. I'll tell you what, it keeps things spicy. I'll tell you that. A contrarian is a person who's always contrary to your belief, right? You might say, man, coffee is a really good way to wake up in the morning. And they're like, nah, just drink cold water. It's like they're always arguing. It's like, bro. Xavier, have you always been so confident about your standards? Have you always known what you wanted from your potential partner? Or was there some milestone that made you feel like enough is enough? Wow. That's a good question. I might use that in a post. So here's what I can tell you. No, I haven't always been confident about my standards. I haven't always known what I wanted in a potential partner. I didn't know these things and I didn't stress it hard enough. What kept happening was I kept meeting people that were below the standard I was looking for, and I kept getting into situations I didn't want to be in. And I would always blame them. But blaming them didn't make me stop getting in those situations. So at some point, I had to point the finger at myself. And I had to ask myself, what am I looking for? And I have to commit to that, right? So if I say, I want this type of person that has this type of mentality, right? But I'm going after the complete opposite. I had to accept the fact that normally people just don't change, right? And if they are going to change, the likelihood of it being because of me is very slim. So I don't look at the exception and base my life off of that, because I think that's a little bit unrealistic. That's a little bit of make-believe talk. I'm gonna be the exception. What? No. Most of us are gonna be in the majority. That's just period, right? Most of us are gonna follow the general way of things. That's just the way it is. So what I did was I looked at that and I said, okay, what happens when I stop trying to go against the grain? Then I started to get more of the results I was looking for. I had more peace. I had more mental clarity. I had happier outcomes. I just had a much better life. Once I submitted to the fact that I am not God and I can't go out here and try to change this person to become this and this person becomes this. Like, once I humbled myself and I let go of my ego and I said, okay, I'm not better than everyone. People are just different. But I have my standard, but I also have to become that standard too. There's also that. I can't just want a standard, but I'm not operating at that standard. So I need to act as if I need to get into that ball game. And then through becoming that standard, I will start to attract people who are that. And I don't want to lose that, right? So hopefully that kind of helps you. But I had to learn through a lot of failure. I had to date a lot of people that were below my standard and keep messing up. I had to keep getting in situations that weren't good for me until I finally woke up one day and said, you know what? I just need to chill. You know, I just need to stop playing. Mailing stuff, even when I say not to. So either you might, I don't know if you can do a restraining order, but a restraining order might help, you know, because I don't know how you can stop someone from mailing something to you. I don't know. Does anyone in the comments know that? Why does a guy come back after he leaves? Because he's not regulated. And he probably wants to sleep with you. He's objectifying you. My kid's dad is like that, always had to say the opposite of what I said. Everything had to be his way. Yeah, and some people do that just to dominate you. Like, some people are not actually that contrarian. They just want to mess with you. What do you do when you are in a relationship with someone that is controlling, meaning can't go to the store alone, can't have friends or family? Advice, I get beaten on. I mean, why would you want to be with someone like that? Do you like your life? You know, that's the bigger question. What are your standards? My standards? I mean, it's quite a list, you know? Like, one of my standards is emotional regulation, right? If I'm gonna date someone, I wanna make sure that they're emotionally stable. I'm not saying you have to be stable in every situation, but I wanna know that you're good at keeping, you know, yourself together in times of turmoil. Another standard is honesty. I like honesty. If I can tell that you're lying or gaslighting or lying to me or lying to yourself, that's not good. I'm not going to work with that. Someone who knows what they want. I like people who are not confused, you know? So if I'm dating someone and they're confused about what they want, I can't work with that. I'm sorry. Like, either you want a relationship or not. Either you want to be married or you don't. Either you want kids or you don't. And if you're still in a place that you're kind of juggling those ideas, I'm not even going to waste my time. So those are just some of my standards. I don't waste my time. If I talk to a girl and I'm like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, nice to meet you. You know, yes, but what do you think of marriage? Well, I don't know. I don't know if I want kids. I'm done. It's been nice meeting you. I've done that so many times. I can't even tell you. I've done that. What are you looking for? Well, I don't know. You know, I'm not really looking for a relationship, but we can have fun. Nice meeting you. Thank you so much. You're a wonderful person. Got to move on. Refuse the package. Return the sender to the P.O. box. What do you mean by not regulated? Do you know what emotional regulation is? It's your ability to basically, like, let's say you experience something, that's not good, right? Or you see something a certain way. Let's say you're having a disagreement with someone, right? Let's say it's about politics. And they say something, oh, I want Trump to win, right? Clearly, if that's triggering to you, you would an emotionally regulated person would say, okay, well, that's just not for me, right? That shows that you have control over yourself and that you're triggered by it, but you're not going to let it get the best of you. A non-regulated person would say, oh, you're gross, you're stupid, what's wrong with you? Like, see, doing that shows me that you don't have yourself under control. Like, if you hear something you don't like, or if something doesn't go your way, you're going to start cursing and yelling and acting out of pocket. And that, to me, that's very childish. Like, I'm going to just be real. So what I like is adults. I like people to act like adults in situations. Now, I'm not saying you have to be perfect, because we all lose it every now and then. But if you're like that all the time, it's a wrap. Like, I can't deal with that. I can't send back. She's sending groceries. Girl, eventually you're going to have to consider, she's forcing you to get a restraining order at this point. Like, she's forcing it. You know what I'm starting to think? The more you don't get a restraining order, this girl's just going to end up coming to your house. That's the next step. Because here's the thing. She's clearly not mentally stable, right? If she's doing this after you already told her to back off, now she's buying you groceries. This girl does not care about what you need. She's attached to you for a reason that's not even you. She's got something going wrong with her, and she's basically externalizing it. So you're going to have to take extreme action at some point, or you're going to get a visit. Thanks for explaining. Yes. Yeah, it is. And if you soft on her, you're going to get what you got coming, girl. You got to take action. Sorry. She forced your hand. Many divorced guys say they don't want to get married again. Should we take them seriously when they say that? Yes. Why would you not? If a guy says something as profound, right, as I don't want to get married again, leave that man alone. Women think they can change him because, you're manipulating. Because if you think that, then you're manipulating yourself. The reality is, he said he doesn't want marriage. If you tell yourself something like, oh, he just heard, he hasn't found the right woman, maybe I could be the right person, then you are signing up for your doom. Because this man, think of it this way, let's say you're right. Let's say the man is broken because he got married to someone that it didn't work out with and she cheated on him. He needs to get over that. He needs to go to therapy. He needs to work through it. The reality is, you see a hurt person, it's an easy in. Because I can fill in that void that he has now. I can be that one that he loves. And that I can make him feel like I would never do that. You chose that route, but you didn't choose a guy who's ready for marriage, who isn't working with that kind of trauma. That's something that needs to be said. But here's what I would say. If a woman decides that, or if a man decides that shows that there's something going on with them. If I decide to be with a woman that says she never wants kids, and I want kids, and I date her saying, well, I could change her mind, there's something wrong with me. Why would I want to do that? Why wouldn't I just meet a woman that wants kids? It could be that easy. I think that a lot of people just have problems with walking away. That's the real of it. A lot of people have problems walking away. Men think I crazy. What? I are crazy because it's like everyone I've met either cheated on me, abused me. I was in a coma. Okay, well, you need help. You need help. Because if you're going through all of that with these guys, we got to help you out. Send me a DM. Guys I'm seeing hasn't made exclusive, but says wants to stop seeing other people and see where it goes. Well, then you're going to have to be the one to present that in a form of clarity. So what you got to say to him is, when you say that, are you saying that we're exclusive? And if he says, well, I'm not saying that we're exclusive, then I would say, okay, so I can date other people. You're going to have to be the one to speak up, right? Because these guys will start to move around these words and try to manipulate you. You got to be the one to say, hey, what does that mean? Does that mean we're exclusive? Be very direct, right? Because these people will play around with words, and if you don't say nothing, they'll start messing with you. So you got that. That's your boundary. I need clear communication, baby. What does that mean? You're not seeing other people. Are you exclusive? Are we exclusive? If he says, oh, no, well, I'm just saying I don't want to see other people, and then I would say, okay, so I can still date. Is it the same as if he says he wants to be friends with benefits or nothing? Believe him, I guess. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you believe him? If he says I want to be friends with benefits, he's telling you what's in his head. Why wouldn't we believe that? No, because like sometimes I'll hear it and I'm like, did I really read that? I've been let down. I'm separated. I have to work on myself so the next guy doesn't get bruised. That is a healthy way to think. Do not date until you got yourself worked on. That is a beautiful thing. And you know what that also means? You will attract the right energy. Because when you date from a broken place, you will find and align with someone who is also in a broken place. Most of the time when we meet people that are broken, that we're dating, it's because we were broken too. It's hard to admit. My teacher, Xavier Smith. Thanks. I have trust issues. I can't trust anyone I talk to. I want to work on myself with my trust. Well, you can go ahead and send me a DM and get it rolling. For those of you that want to work with me exclusively, send me a DM. When communicating with someone new online, after I've asked 2 or 3 questions and they have not, should I keep it moving? Seems communication is a lost art nowadays. Well, you have to understand, a lot of people online are not great. Like, not everyone that goes online is capable of dating, right? Some people are not ready to date and they don't ever leave their house. They have whack social skills and they get on these dating apps. So I wouldn't take it personal. If I ask a question or two and I notice the other person is just giving me answers and they're not asking questions, I'm done. I'm moving on. Like, that's crazy. I'm not about to be sitting here asking 20 questions and you're just like, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I grew up in Scottsdale. Yeah, I really like it here. Like, this is so boring. I'm done. I asked my ex to block me and she finally did it when she didn't want to. So I don't know what could happen next. Okay. I don't even know how to look at that statement. People definitely don't know how to communicate. No, a lot of people don't, and that's okay, But here's the thing: dating someone who can't communicate is like trying to cook on your toilet. Don't do it. There's nothing good about that. After 19 years of pain, he now says he's willing to get help. And now it's my duty to validate him for a sudden interest. I don't trust him this timing. Now what? Well, I mean, you already put up with it for 19 years. And now he's trying to get help, but you're going to have to work with him through that if that is true, which means you're going to have to deal with more pain. So sounds like more pain is coming. You know, it doesn't just mean he's going to be good overnight. If he's been bad for 19 years and he's just now going to therapy, he might have another 10 years of figuring it out. So now he's telling you, you got to act a certain way after you've been putting up with him for 19 years. Sounds like you need to, that doesn't sound good at all, to be honest. That is so true about the broken. I dated someone after my separation, and he turned out to be a narcissist personality. Yeah, yeah. That's one thing that, you know, I sometimes have trouble with getting people to see. Because a lot of people think that when they date crazy person after crazy person, they think that they're normal. I'm the normal one in the story that's dating all these crazy people. How? How is that possible? What is normal at that point, right? You had to align some kind of way. What do you think about age gaps? I mean, I think they can be cool sometimes. I think that I don't really think age defines maturity anymore, you know, as long as we're above adult, right? But I've met some people who were younger that were way more mature than people who were older, right? I think that sometimes you can align with someone that's a different age than you, right? I don't think that age really matters all the time. As long as you have the same goals, you know. What is your advice on old soul trying to date in today's society? You're gonna have to be okay with moving very quickly. If you were a little bit more old school, like, because back in the 80s it was different. People were still doing messed up stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. In the 80s they were still going buck wild, but at the same time, it was the standard was a little bit higher, right? In the dating field, it was a little bit more patient, but they were forced into it. It wasn't like it was like, you know, we have more access to be less patient now. Back then you had house phone, you know, only one person could be on it at a time. So you have to wait things out a lot more, which caused people to be a little bit more patient in how they move and stuff. But if you're looking for an old school traditional romance where two people respect each other, love each other, and don't try to move too quickly, you're just gonna have to be okay with walking away from a lot of people. You know, it's very similar to people that want to wait until marriage to have sex, right? Like, if you're waiting till marriage, you're gonna have to say no to a lot of people. That doesn't mean that it's bad, but it could get very annoying in the process. Because a lot of people are all over the place now, you know, and it's no standards. The standards have dropped, right? It's very low standards in society right now. People, and just not in just a dating field, but in everything, right? It's becoming very like emotionless, robotic, transactional. There's a lot of that stuff going on. Plus, we got all these different types of media manipulating us every day. So thank you for your follows. My ex and I lasted a year, but she says she loves me, but don't know what to do. Thing is, thank you for the heart, Noel, but don't know what to do. Thing is, she does know, but she just doesn't want to put the work into somebody that ain't trying to put the, what? I think you might need to DM me. I don't really understand this. DM me with the word ready if you want to join my exclusive group, where you get all the info and you get a one-on-one with me. I thought I met my dream man. The last year was bliss, but I ignored the red flags and he started beating me 3 months ago. I haven't answered his call for 2 days. Changed my locks. My point was don't ignore the red flags. I'm sorry that you went through that. I'm sorry that happened. That's way too crazy. You don't deserve that. I think that's, yeah, I can agree. Don't ignore those red flags. What do I have to do to join the group? Send me a DM. Just send me a DM. Proud mom, I got you. How long have we been online, baby? Damn, it's 7 p.m.? She said, get a gun. He is a marriage and family therapist, by the way. What? Yo, you could get his license removed. Get his license removed real quick. Here's the thing, just because someone's a therapist doesn't mean that they know everything. Just because someone's a therapist doesn't mean that they're emotionally and mentally stable. It's a lot easier to tell other people how to behave. Like, yeah. Because sometimes people are like, well, let me date this therapist and see, they should know, right? No. Sometimes they're the worst. Sometimes they're the worst people to date. Because they be low-key crazy too. They're like, I'm telling you, as a crazy person, I know how to appear normal, right? Not all of them, but there are some, right, that you got to be careful. They get into therapy to help themselves. I mean, but that's kind of why I'm like half of the reason why I'm good at this job, because I used to be one of the bad guys. So that's why, I'm able to deliver this information, because I can channel that side of myself. I'm not like that now. Like now I walk the walk now, but yeah, there was a time where I was one of the bad ones too. So yeah, the absolute worst, kept talking about cutting my hands off. Man, that dude was insane. He was psycho. But you know what's funny? It's usually people like that have the best advice. Like, you'll go into New York on a fun day, you'll go into Manhattan, those people that are yelling at the walls sometimes have the best advice. Life is like a lemon. Sometimes it's sour, but once you get through it, it's actually pretty good for you. Let me go back to yelling at this wall. So, Tom, we had that meeting last week. You don't know what you're gonna get. Like crazy people be having the best advice, man. They can always, sometimes I think that's why, you go on first dates with some of these people and they seem so normal. Like, I've gone on first dates with some people that I knew were certified crazy. Like, I knew it. Like, something just hit me. I was like, you crazy. And then we got on the first date and they said the most enlightening stuff I ever heard in my life. I was like, huh? I had to read like 12 books, take all of these self-help classes to even understand what you just said. And then they turn around and do something insane. And I'm like, why is it like that? Most crazy people are insanely intelligent. That's probably why they are crazy. They learned too much. And then they were like, I can't deal with it now. Because I'm not going to lie, learning a lot about the true nature of things isn't the funnest thing in the world. It kind of kills it. Like, the more that I learned about people and the more I learned about behavior patterns and all this stuff, I'm not going to lie, I kind of took a little hit on my positive outlook. Because I was like, man, there's a lot of things that people are just never going to get. And that sucks. Like, when you start to see that, you start to feel like you want to give up. Like, you're just like, what? But at the same time, I have a faith, and stuff like that keeps my head together, right? I think that's when I have to like get counseling myself. I have to maintain my faith, and then stuff like that will keep me in line or in check. Thank you for this live. You're helping so many of us. You're so appreciated. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Some of y'all been on this live with me the whole time. I've been on here for almost 2 hours, 3 hours. Well, what are some good questions to ask on a first date? You have to get in my private group for that. I have a whole hour-long video on how to approach first dates. I talk a lot about that in my private group. Can I say something important? Everyone go to the gym for 2 years and see how you feel. Now, here's the thing. I do agree that people should take care of their health. However, if you need to go on walks, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, eat healthier, I'm always leading the charge for a healthier life. However, just because your body looks good and you're healthy in your body does not mean you're healthy mentally. I know some people that are beautiful, that are in great shape, but they can't function in a relationship. So emotional intelligence, going to the gym does not give you emotional intelligence. It doesn't give you better character. Sometimes it makes you feel better and healthier. But what I would say is going to a coach or counselor or therapist to help you with emotional intelligence is going to be beneficial for you functioning in relationships. But yes, going to the gym and being healthier is also a great way to help improve just your overall health, mental, or whatever. Can someone learn to have emotional intelligence? I did. If you would have met me, how many years ago? Let's say about 10 years ago. If you would have met me 10 years ago, I would have crashed out on this entire life. I would have blamed everyone on here. I would have made you all seem like villains. And I would have probably slammed my computer on the ground and then been upset that I slammed my computer on the ground. So knowing that I used to be that person shows you that you can be one too. First date question. I think that's a okay question, but I feel like there's another way to ask. What is emotional intelligence? It's pretty much understanding that the way that when you have an emotional trigger, you have a way of identifying it and separating yourself from it, right? So it's saying, even though I'm triggered or even though I feel this way, that doesn't mean that it's going to lead to me having this erratic behavior. When you're able to separate your emotions from your behaviors and you're able to make conscious decisions, even though you have an emotional reaction, it's pretty much like an override system, right? Even though I feel this, I can override it by looking at things objectively and then controlling my emotion. Because sometimes what we do is we have one emotion and we get carried away with it. Now we're yelling and screaming, we're arguing, but it didn't even have to go there. You see what I'm saying? So clearly you're not stabilizing yourself because you don't know how to. Most of us as children, I would say we're taught to just yell, get it out, see our parents yell at each other, abuse, we see this stuff. That's terrible, right? That's because we're not controlling it. How did you heal? I went to counseling. Once a bad boy, always a bad boy. Well, that's a bit of a generalization. Do you trust yourself not to go back? Well, look at my social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was still a bad boy, somebody would have come out on social media by now and exposed the F out of me. So there's pretty much your proof. No, I won't go back. The reason why I won't go back is because I didn't realize what I was doing was bad. I was told by adults that were older than me that that's how I was supposed to act. I mean, just go online. Look how many red pill dudes will tell you your girl is supposed to do whatever you say. Your girl is your slave. Your girl is your slave. Like, they say stuff like that. There are guys that talk like that. I was surrounded by those kinds of guys when I was a kid. So I thought that that was the right mentality. That wasn't who I was, though. So basically, healing helped me realize who I actually am. I'm really not this alpha wannabe. You know what I mean? How long did it take you? It took me years. It took me like 4 or 5 years. But also, I didn't have a mental disorder. Right? I don't have a mental disorder. So like I don't have like narcissistic personality disorder, right? But you would have thought I was a narcissist, but I don't have that. Now here's the thing, even though I don't have that disorder, sometimes I still have some of the things that they would carry. Like one of my friends on here is a narcissist, and I asked him, I was like, is your first thought to think reactive? And he was like, yeah. Sometimes I have those thoughts, but it's not as like severe. So some parts of me are still like there. I know it's there, but I know how to control it now. I know when it's not good for the situation. And if I find myself losing control, then I would call my counselor. We didn't teach kids how to self-regulate emotions, no. And one of the reasons why that happened is because a lot of adults don't know how to do it either. A lot of adults and parents do not know how to self-regulate. That's why a lot of them failed. They failed with raising their kids. They failed with their marriages because they didn't know how to regulate, and they were causing all kinds of chaos. A relationship requires regulate. If you don't know how to do that, good luck. Have you been in a relationship after you healed? Yes, I have. But the sucky part is that when you do heal, one thing you realize is you're always going to be healing, right? You're always going to be breaking and healing. That's just the way life is. So what I learned is that even though I got better than I used to be, or a lot better than I used to be, that I'm still not perfect. And I'm going to have moments that I'm going to, do things that are unfavorable. Now, here's the difference. We're all going to go through that. The difference between me and other people, that I admit it, and I go talk to my counselor to get it worked on. I don't just sit in it and say, oh, I suck, right? Oh, I just realized this is a trigger for me. I didn't know this because I never had the situation before. Let me talk to my counselor. You know what I'm saying? Because like I'll get in situations where I feel a trigger and I have to ask myself, is it them or is it me? Like sometimes I don't know because you don't always know where the trigger comes from. So that's what I do. And then once I got worked on, that's the problem that I usually have when I get in dating situations is I meet people who don't want to take accountability and don't want to make those changes. They don't want to like challenge their trigger and say, okay, is it me or is it you? Is it us? Like, what's happening? They just react. And then I'm like, okay, do you want to like see what you just did there? They're like, nope, you're wrong. And I'm like, this is not going to work. I'm sorry, I just can't date someone that doesn't take accountability. Like, I will walk. Like, one time I packed my stuff and I walked out. I was like, if you're not going to take accountability for this, I'm done. That's crazy. I'm sorry, man. I can't deal with people like that. No. Because I'm not going to be the only one sitting here taking accountability. That's annoying. Like, I'm going to sit here every time admitting why I was wrong, what I could have done better, and you're not going to have it one time? Nah, man, I'm good on that. There's no growth. If you can't take accountability, there's no growth. You might as well just be a kid. Because have you noticed that some people who don't take accountability still act like they're 11? It's like you put yourself in a time capsule. Because if you don't take accountability, you won't see how to become better which means you're just gonna stay in this perpetual loop of being a child. Like, you're like 80 and you act like you're 10. Like, this is what that comes from, right? And relationships require growth. At least for most people. Some people find a way to deal with each other and they just knock each other around. My problem is that people don't have patience for people to change when change takes time. Well, yeah, that's because people, I agree with that. I agree with that. People don't have patience. And that's the thing where people have to realize how imperfect that they are. You know what I mean? People have to realize how imperfect they are. Like, a lot of us tend to judge people and say, "Oh, you're this bad," right? Outside of extremes. Like we're so perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing, is we have to understand what kind of problems we're bringing to the table too. A lot of us are not Jesus. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not walking around with the ability to do whatever in every situation. Sometimes we're not. Sometimes we struggle, and that's okay. So I think sometimes people need to wake up and realize that, hey, I have things I need to work on too. That's someone has to be patient with me about. So I can afford to give this person some patience. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. Don't be with someone that where this change is absolutely needed, right? Because if you get with someone and you're like, I can see myself staying with you if you change this thing, you already ruined it. Because that's like kind of weird. What if they never change it? So, and you're also holding off and delaying a part of your love because you're not seeing what you need to see. Why even date them? That says to me you're the toxic one, because you're impatient and you're lowering your standard and you're telling them they got to pay for the fact that you're lowering your standard. So you must be perfect. You could walk on water. Are people always wrong in some shape or form? No. Sometimes they're not wrong. Sometimes they're right. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of situations where we could be wrong in some shape or form, but I wouldn't say always. Sometimes you're 100% correct in what you think and feel. Thank you for saying that, of course. I can't get over my ex. Any advice? You can work with me. Send me a DM, because we're going to have to open up why. We're going to have to talk about it and talk deep about it. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for being on my live. We have been having a great time on live today. It's been a long live. By the way, for everyone that is online that has not yet gotten into my exclusive group where I give you way more information, make sure you send me a DM with the word ready and I will send you information to get in. Make sure you get in, people, because I don't say certain things on social media. You're a trooper. You've been great. Thank you. Absolutely. I'm the most patient person and I understand change takes time. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I normally, like, let's say I date someone, right? Of course, we all have things we can improve. But when I date a person and I get in a relationship, I don't get in it expecting them to change. You know what I'm saying? I don't get in with the feeling like you need to change to become this, right? I love them for who they are up front. I just want who they are. Now, if they decide to improve, that's great. If they don't, they're still at a standard that I can still love them at. So that's why it's important. Standards are everything. Like, if they already are at a standard that I'm looking for in a long-term person, then I'm good. Could they make changes to certain things? Yeah. Do they have to right now? No. Would I still love them if they don't? Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? But here's the thing. I wouldn't get in a relationship with someone that doesn't prioritize becoming better either. You see what I'm saying? Like, if they are about mental health and growth and stuff like that, I would date them. If they don't prioritize that, I wouldn't date them. So I wouldn't have that problem, right? I would make sure that they prioritize. Because here's the thing, it's not about being perfect. It's about willing to work consistently, right? If we reach a new problem, are we willing to work through that? Do we prioritize growth? Do we prioritize health and wellness? Do we prioritize that? For like people, fitness people, instead of dating someone that never goes to the gym and then expecting them to go to the gym now, you could just date someone that prioritizes their gym time. They prioritize fitness. They prioritize staying, getting their body moving. Make sure you stick with the standard that you're looking for, right? Love you and your wonderful advice. Thank you so much. Love you too. Why does he say he not complimenting me because I'm used to it from the past relationship? Oh, he's gaslighting you. You getting gaslit. That don't even make no sense. The reality is the dude just doesn't want to compliment you, and he's using an excuse of what you experienced in your past relationship against you just because he's a crappy person. I probably shouldn't have said that. See, that's why I know I've been on here a long time. I'm starting to lose my filter. Yes, you have to give each other grace. 1,000%. 1,000%. Otherwise, it won't work. If you don't give someone grace, it won't work. All right. So, last call, and I'm about to jump off of here. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have been great on this live today. Thank you, Rebecca, for the bracelet. Thank you all for your wonderful time. I love you so much. Appreciate you. Make sure if you want to get that one-on-one with me, make sure you get it before everybody else. Thank you for the heart, because it's going to fill up this week and you may not be able to get it. So make sure you go send me a DM with the word ready. Do it right now and see if you can get in so that we can get you in this week to talk. And you can join my exclusive group because we have such a good time and we talk all day, all the time. So we're always in touch. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Have a great rest of your evening. Much love. And we will talk soon. All right. Bye, y'all.